Tyler Gilbert, driver of the '04 Mainly Asphalt's Camaro. You're watching XCAL on Tella TV.
Esto es XCAL League, soy Octavio Rondoleto y me verás arriba del Tella 77.
Hi, this is Angelo Esposito, driver of the 33 machine, and you're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Hi, this is Kenny Tripp, driver of the main mobile truck service Camaro. You're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Hey, ich heiße Rafael Sempro und bin der Fahrer des Wagens mit der Nummer 74 und ihr guckt XCAL Racing auf Telesign TV.
This is Ryan Soper, driver of the number 84 RS racing car, and you're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Good evening, my friend, and welcome to the XCAL Racing Don't Mess with Texas 225. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and it is time for the feature event here this Tuesday night as we get ready to go 225 laps around the mile-and-a-half track down here at Fort Worth, Texas. We are getting ready for about 38 cars to take the green flag this evening, and it should be a doozy. With about a minute left before we go green, we're going to take a minute to talk to our in-car reporter, Paul Coleman Jr., as we dial him up. Paul Coleman Jr., as we get ready for this race, one of the biggest things here is this track's a mile-and-a-half banked very similar to Charlotte, so when people see this track, they immediately think of Charlotte. Tell us what the difference is, though, between this track and the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
That dog leg there really comes out to bite you. I'll definitely say that that's going to be the tough thing. Whenever you try to get side by side there, that gets really, really tight. That wall comes up on you quick.
Now, Paul, as far as racing here goes, how do you think the racing compares to Charlotte? Do you think it's easier to make passes here, or do you think it's more hard to make up positions at Texas than it is at Charlotte?
The draft comes into play a lot more here, especially as we saw in the previous truck race there. You would definitely really need to get a good draft. I learned that in the fourth heat last night too. Passing was really, really difficult unless you have some friends here. Passing's a little bit easier in Charlotte.
All right, Paul, and lastly, quickly here, you're starting shotgun on the field. What's the strategy to go from 38th to 1st in this thing?
You know what's exciting is, I think I mentioned this before, I'm not going to get run over. At the truck race earlier today, I was run over in heat. Here I get to start last. I know nobody's going to drive into me from behind. We're going to let the field string out. Maybe if they get their first crash, I can avoid that, but we'll get sprung out. I'm going to try to find a drafting partner early on. I got Derek Colson starting next to me. Derek knows me. We go way back. Maybe we can work our way together to the front.
Paul Coleman Jr., driver of the number 66, our in-car reporter today. Here's your starting grid for the Don't Mess with Texas 225. Starting on pole position, that is position number 1, will be the 99 of Tyler McRae. In second, in the number 16, will be Pat Sullivan. In third, in the 77, will be Octavio Rondoletto. Fourth is the 66 of Kendrick Crayer. Fifth is the 32 of Trevor Birchmere. Sixth will be the 48 of Jordan Babinger. Seventh will be the 53 of Tyler Batchelder. Eighth will be the 2 of Ben Eaton. Ninth will be the 74 of Rafael Sempruch. 10th will be the 25 of Bruce Helmuth. 11th will be the 06 of Cody Jones. 12th will be the 699 of Matthew Bear. 13th will be the 01 of John Shorts. 14th, Jose Gaudino. 15th, Pedro Jose Luis Bywan. 16th, Kenny Tripp. 17th, Johnny B. 18th, Luke Turpin. 19th will be Jeff Edgar. 20th, Art Hendren. 21st, Sean Patrick. 22nd, Jeremy Leto. 23rd, William Karp. 24th, Stephen Rex. 25th, Tim Skillman. 26th, Greg Holes. 27th, Josh Rogers. 28th, Brad Glogally. 29th, Darren Snyder. And in 30th will be Adam Padilla. And 31st is Tyler Jalbert after winning his heat race, but he got sent to the rear of the field due to a penalty. 32nd, Kyle Streichars. 33rd, Noah Carpenter. 34th, Linus LaBeouf. 35th, Alex Gangler. 36th, Danny Ware. 37th, Derek Colson. Rounding out our field, and 38th will be Paul Coleman. Here they come around turns 3 and 4. The iRacing Ford Mustang gets ready to make that hard left-hand turn. As it does, the field is now at the mercy of Tyler McRae. Texas Terry Labonte, our flag man this evening, holds the flag in hand, and he drops it. Green flag in the air, we're down and away, and it's McRae on the inside getting going. McRae have the lead of the stripe, but on the outside lane, it's Pat Sullivan fighting back. Sullivan on the high side makes his charge with help from Crayer. Oh, they touch doors through the top two cars. They touch doors, and Sullivan goes up the Speedway. That'll now leave McRae alone on the inside lane with help from Octavio Rondoletto. Rondoletto gets a nice shove there to the 99 of McRae, and they get things all sorted out. We are still side by side for the lead. On the high side, it's Pat Sullivan with a lot of help from that 66 car. He drives around the high side of the Speedway, and oh, Sullivan gets loose! Sullivan wrecks in front of the whole field! A huge wreck to start this race. Caution on lap number 1 of 225. Oh my goodness, an unbelievable turn of events here, as typically these heat races have been very clean early on. In these heat races, we had them go where there was pretty much no cautions in any of the heat races for the first 20 laps. And here we go, the car that started in second on the outside of the front row, immediately, even before we get to the first lap completed, gets collected in a huge wreck. And that brings out caution as the replay is going to come up here. Replay comes up, and you see that Kendrick Crayer was just pushing that 16 car a little bit too hard into the corner, and he hit him right in the quarter panel. The 16 car got loose, and then Kendrick just kind of finished him off. 16 car wrecked hard, the 66 wrecked hard. The 06 of Cody Jones got a piece of that one. Looks like he was not much worse for wear, though, after the wrecking was done. Also involved in that, I saw the 7 of Jeff Edgar. The 03 of Clinus LaBeouf got a big piece of that one. And that is caution out on the Speedway for the first time tonight, as that was a tough one there. So caution's out, and we have a lot of torn up race cars already, as we will see who still has what left, as there's quite a few cars collected in that one. And we're going to try to get a word in there with Pat Sullivan down in the infield care center and see what happened there, as he had the best advantage from the front of the field. And we're going to pull him up here real quick. All right, there we go. Finally got him to the right channel. There we go. Pat Sullivan, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, PD, how you doing?
Good, Pat. Unfortunate break there for you after starting on the outside of the front row. A huge wreck there on the first lap. Looks like it's going to take the 16 car out of contention. Pat, why don't you just tell the viewers what happened there?
Real shame. You know, we've got a 225 lap race here, and nobody could show any patience at all. Going 3 wide down the backstretch on the first lap really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It's unfortunate. Took the sim speed shot, M.A. Simons trucking Strawberry Fields Camaro out of the race, but I guess we'll come back next week and get them.
10-4, just kind of a result there of restrictor plate racing, a big wreck early on. I got to tell you, next week, Pat, we head to North Wilkesboro. How do you feel about that track?
It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a new track for me in a street stock, and you know, it'll be a struggle, but we'll work on the car throughout the week. Make sure we got a real good setup under it, and we'll see what we got.
All right, well, thank you, Pat. I'm so sorry about your luck this evening, but better luck moving forward, my friend. All right, that was Pat Sullivan, driver of the number 16 machine. An unfortunate break early in this race that took him out of contention. And we're actually going to dial up our in-car reporter here while we have a quick moment. Paul Coleman Jr., it's PD up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Absolutely.
Pat, or I just called you Pat, Paul. Sorry, I was just talking to Pat. Paul, a huge wreck on lap number 1 before we even made it back to the start-finish line. What do you attribute that early wreck to?
Is Pat okay there? That looked like a really, really bad wreck there.
Yeah, we did get word that we talked to Pat down in the infield care center. He was a little roughed up and certainly frustrated, but I think he's okay. Plans on racing next week, no major injuries.
That's great to hear. As drivers, we really care about each other's safety first. As I think that they got racy very early. That's why I said I was very excited to be able to start at the back, because I have a feeling, drivers at the beginning, they get a little too excited. They fail to show a little patience. Some of these guys try to, win it, because I said that draft's important, and to be able to, get up front and, get ahead of the pack there is important. So it's what it is. But hey, we're 30th. We've already up 8 spots. We can take that each time.
All right, Paul. Well, thank you for your thoughts on what happened there. Hopefully we'll talk to you in a little bit. Actually, hopefully we'll not talk to you for a while. Hopefully we can get some green flag laps. That was Paul Coleman Jr. up to 29th, our in-car reporter. So I'll give you an update on how the running order is going here. So Pat Sullivan out of the race. He's going to finish 37th out of the race. Kendrick Crayer, he's done for. Arthur Hendren, number 37, on pit road with heavy damage. That car is going to go at least a few laps down. Bruce Helmuth also in pits right now, heavy damage. That car is going to go a few laps down. An update, Luke Turpin, the 454 team. Turpin, one of the best drivers in XCAL, everyone knows Turpin. He was getting ready to get things going here in this race, and his car wouldn't turn over on the initial start. The crew was racing all around the car, putting fuel into the carburetor, trying to jump start the battery. They couldn't figure out what the issue was. They finally got the Turpin machine running again, and Turpin, by the time they got that car running out on the racetrack, though, he was already 1 lap down. So Luke Turpin is 1 lap down. He is out on the Speedway, though, running around the Speedway a lap down, so we will have to see if Turpin is able to make up any more ground. He's 1 lap down, but still a lot of race left to run. Update on some of the cars that got damaged. Looking through the field, Ben Eaton got quite a bit of damage. That car is still coming on and off the pit road, getting damage fixed. Kyle Strychar is in the 07, quite a bit of damage on the 07 machine. It looks like also Clinus LaBeouf, he also got a good bit of damage on that car. The 03 machine suffering a good bit of nose damage there. Jeff Edgar, actually, he goes involved in that wreck, but Edgar kind of just went around and nosed the wall a little bit. I think that car is not going to be much worse for wear. Jose Gaudino with some damage. William Karp got a piece of it. Noah Carpenter also got a piece of it. Alex Gangler got a little piece of it. The 83 of Tim Skillman got a piece of it. And there wasn't many cars in this field who didn't get a piece of that wreck. We come down to turn number 3, though, and the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car is going to be pulling off this time by. We're going to be going green with lap 6 of 225, and already a huge wreck to start this thing. Very unlike the XCAL guys. They come down through turns 3 and 4. The top 5 is still Tyler McRae, Octavio Rondoletto, Jordan Babinger, Trevor Birchmere, and Pedro Jose Luis Bailes. Pace car pulls off. Texas Terry holds the flag in hand. He lets it rip. Green flag in the air. We're down and away, and it's Tyler McRae on the inside with a good start. Worth noting, he now has his teammate Trevor Birchmere running right behind him, so Birchmere gives him a little bit of a shove as they head down into turn 1. Birchmere... Tough break there for the Pat Sullivan machine, as he would like to be up there racing for the lead right now, but sometimes that's just how it goes. So here we go on the outside. Octavio Rondoletto is going to battle for the top spot. Rondoletto drives around the high side. He has a lot of help up there for Jordan Babinger. Babinger pushed them off into the corner, and it's going to be Rondoletto with the nose ahead ever so slightly. They side draft for the first spot, and this time by, they will make it back to the start finish line. Oh, a wreck! Another wreck in the back of the field. Adam Padilla goes around. The 53 goes around. The 42, multiple cars wrecking. Caution is out on the Speedway again. A very bad start here to the Don't Mess with Texas 225, as this has just gone from bad to worse. Looks like Jeremy Leto also wrecked after the caution, as he got involved in something there, and just all sorts of carnage early in this one. I mean, wrecks all over the Speedway. This has truly been a race of attrition early on. Caution out. We'll see what happened with Padilla on the 67 there, as that caution did start with him. Replay is up, and Padilla just got loose on the high side of the Speedway. He came down and clipped Kenny Tripp. Tripp got into the inside wall. Carpenter got a piece. Tim Skillman got a huge piece of that, as Padilla went barrel rolling down the front stretch. And caution flies for already the second time in this race. And we're going to try to catch a word with Adam Padilla, as he was the one that was at the start of that caution. So we're going to see if we can catch a quick word with Padilla. And we're going to drag him here in a second. And we're now keying up the radio of Adam Padilla. Let's see if we can get a copy. Adam, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, Adam there. Looks like the car just got a little loose coming off the corner on you there. Can you take the viewer through what happened from the cockpit?
Yeah, it just got a little away from me. I thought I got it back and got clipped.
Well, unfortunately, you did barrel roll quite a bit, but I see the car is still running. So, Adam, do you think you're going to be able to get back out there and still compete, or is that car pretty tore up right now?
It's pretty tore up. I'm still being towed in, so we don't know the extent of the damage yet till I get in.
10-4, Adam. Well, thank you for the update. Sorry about the tough luck, and I hope you can get back out there, my friend.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll see what happens.
That was Adam Padilla, driver of the number 67, as we will see if he can get that car back out there. But caution flies again, and that allows another group of cars to get trapped behind the field. What this will do is allow Luke Turpin to get his lap back, so Luke Turpin will be back on the lead lap after starting this thing 2 laps down with significant problems getting that car to fire early on. And looking through the field, we're going to try to key in Paul Coleman again, just to get a word with him on the thoughts of the early carnage of this race. Paul Coleman, it's PD up in the booth, man. This race early on, it's been crazy, Paul. All sorts of big wrecks, and it just seems like these guys thought in the first 10 laps they could decide the outcome of 225.
Yeah, no doubt. They say everything's bigger in Texas. The wrecks are definitely bigger so far. That was a big old one down the front straightaway. Gave the fans a throw there. Hope he's okay. But yeah, it's just these guys not showing patience. Again, I'm not complaining. Gives me a chance to, sit in the field a little bit and move up through. Like I said, just going to play this thing ultra conservative, kind of like the way I did at Michigan. I don't want another repeat of Charlotte from a couple weeks ago where I was out early like these guys. So we're just going to ride around, play slow, and see how it goes.
Well, Paul, do you think that we're going to see this trend of early wrecks continue, or do you think after 2 early big ones, everyone's just going to kind of sit back and be like, all right, if we keep doing this, there's going to be no cars left? Or do you think the patience is going to continue to run low and we're going to see these wrecks continue?
I hope third time's a charm and we get ourselves a good restart. But yeah, that very well could be. Hang on, I got to tell my pick. I think the third time's going to be the charm. Sorry, I was telling my pit crew not to change tires. I need to get some gas.
All right, well, thank you, Paul, for the word. That was Paul Coleman Jr., driver of the number 66 machine, our in-car reporter. We're going to take a 30-second timeout for station identification. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Telesign TV with the Don't Mess with Texas 225. Good afternoon, my friend, and welcome to the XCAL Racing Don't Mess with Texas 225. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and we are getting ready to get things underway here as there's about 2 laps till we go back green. A couple early big wrecks in this one have really put a damper on things as these guys have not been able to bide their patience early. A couple of big wrecks really taking out a few good cars in this one. We had 38 start. Already we have had 3 cars take it behind the fence. Tough going here for a lot of these guys. We do still have 33 cars in the lead lap. As sorry, I just got a little distracted there for a moment. As here's your updated running order up front in the field. We have first place Tyler McRae. Second place will be Octavio Rondoletto. Third will be Jordan Babinger. Fourth will be Trevor Birchmere. Fifth, Rafael Sempruch. Sixth, Pedro Jose Luis Baiwan. Seventh will be Johnny B. Eighth, Stephen Rex. Ninth, Brad Galogli. And 10th will be Noah Carpenter. So that is your running order here in the top 10 right now. Just outside the top 10, you have Tim Skillman in 11th, 12th, Darren Snyder, 13th after starting 37th with Derek Colson. What a run through the field already for Colson after starting 37th, second to last. He is now in lucky number 13. 14th, Danny Ware, and 15th, Alex Gangler. This time by the flag stand. There's 1 lap till we go green flag racing, Terry Labonte says. Tyler McRae going to show the field around to the green flag. Is this one a slow start, but I'm with Paul. We talked to Paul in that interview there, and he said third time's the charm. Third time is when we're going to get the green flag going and maybe get some laps in the books here. I agree. I think third time will be the charm. I think third time is when we will finally get a little bit of a run going here and hopefully get things a little spread out and racing cleanly here, and we don't have another big wreck that collects a good portion of the field. So we come down the backstretch. Tyler McRae has the field in tow. Worth noting, too, on the last couple restarts, Rondoletto on the outside really has been challenging McRae. The race hasn't got going much yet, so we really haven't had a chance to see the 77 battle much with the 99, but from what we've seen in the short little stints we've had, that 77 has hung tight to the outside of McRae. Let's see if that continues here. Don't forget, that 77 of Rondoletto won the truck race here at Texas today. Maybe he can win the street stock race too. Said he's going for the sweep. Here we go through turns 3 and 4. Field at the mercy of Tyler McRae. It is all dropping bombs on the inside as Babinger, McRae's teammate, runs right on his bumper. The iRacing Ford Mustang makes the hard left-hand turn. Texas Terry holds the flag in hand. He waves it. Green flag in the air. We're down and away. McRae with a really good jump that time. He got the jump there on Rondoletto. Here comes Babinger now to give him a little bit of a bump. Let's see if Birchmere tries to get in line behind his dropping bombs friends. Birchmere did have a little bit of a hole there for a second, but it closed too quickly for him to do anything with it. Birchmere runs on the high side now. He races side by side with the number 48 of Babinger for the 3rd spot. It's Rondoletto on the high side trying to mount a charge on McRae. 5th place right now, Rafael Sempruch, doing a good job missing all these early wrecks. That car still finds itself running up near the front. As we kind of have a couple different packs forming here. We have the damaged cars that are falling to the back like rocks right now. We have these undamaged cars that have been fast all weekend running up near the front of the pack. And then we kind of have a couple other little backpacks too forming that are these guys that want to just avoid getting involved in these wrecks, want to avoid sustaining any damage from these guys racing too aggressive early. So a lot of different strategies going on here as everyone's kind of doing their own thing here. Up front, though, it is Tyler McRae leading with a lot of help from Jordan Babinger. Babinger gives the 99 a big shove down the back straightaway and continues to push that 99 car out ahead. It is Rondoletto, though, on the high side from Trevor Birchmere getting a lot of help. Birchmere runs right up tucked behind the 77 of Rondoletto as he's just trying to get his friend front. Rondoletto. Really not a lot of help on that high side, though. If the high side's going to work, you need more than just 2 cars up there. And unfortunately, it is just those 2 guys until you get back about 10 car lengths to the number 4 of Brad Gologly. Now Birchmere pulls down. So it is Rondoletto all by his lonesome up there on the high side. We'll see if he can find a hole to slide into. Rondoletto, really nothing doing there yet. He's still battling for second on the outside of Babinger. Let's see if he can make a move here. He runs on the high side, pinching that 48 down low. He's just trying to get some side draft off that car. It's a long way back till he has some help from the 4 of Brad Gologly. Gologly now is continuing to run that high side of Noah Carpenter. Gologly making some headway now as he works his way up to the high side now of the other dropping bombs car up there in the top 10, Johnny B, who runs in 6th. A good early run here in this race for Johnny B. Johnny's been quick all weekend long. He actually finished fairly well in his heat race, found himself starting 17th in this race. He is already up in the top 10 now, and dropping bomb early in this race. 4 of the top 6 cars are those dropping bombs cars. So it's a DBR fest early here at the Texas Speedway, and then you have Sempruch and Rondoletto, so kind of the 2 foreign cats up there making things happen. Rondoletto and Sempruch race side by side for 3rd. There's Rondoletto on the high side. Rafael Sempruch in the German-colored car of the green, red, and yellow. Proud German colors flying for the German driver, Rafael Sempruch, who runs in 4th. Sempruch is doing a good job, just kind of biding his time there on the low side. And I think now you see a lot of single-file racing. I think that's a cause because of these early wrecks in this race. I think a lot of these guys realize that, hey, we're racing kind of stupid here. These couple big wrecks it's way too early for that type of deal. With XCAL Racing, there is no such thing as a quick repair. We don't believe in giving you a second car. You get 1 car, that's all you have. If we can make it so your car from the heat race transferred over to the feature, we would do that too. As Tyler McRae had a little bit of a moment there at Babinger when he hangs on. But XCAL Racing just doesn't believe in quick repairs. So I think these guys are realizing, hey, I just got 1 car to race with tonight. We can't afford to keep wrecking. And I think everyone's just doing a good job now biding their time and keeping their cars in line and realizing that, hey, this needs to go a little bit better. By the end of this one, we're going to have no cars left in there. Still, though, we do have 32 cars on the lead lap and 35 cars running around the speedway out of 38 that started. As Tim Skillman did have to come down pit road. He was running up in the top 15. Unfortunately, a lot of damage for him forced that car down pit road to get some of it repaired. So that's a tough break there for him. Outside lane is starting to form a little bit now as I'm looking on at that. You do have up there the 4 car of Brad Gologly is starting to get closer and closer to the 77 of Rondoletto. Looking back, though, we're going to see how the other packs of cars are doing. Behind the lead pack, you have about a 5-car pack with Alex Gangler, Derek Coulson, Luke Turpin, Jose Gaudino, and Jeremy Leto. Those 5 cars are kind of running nose to tail. Looks like they're just trying to avoid any trouble. And then you move further back, and you see a bunch of scattered cars throughout the field. A lot of guys in single line right now. Really, everyone just kind of doing a good job biding their time, making sure that they keep their cars in one piece. I think there's a lot of nervousness throughout the field right now with these drivers after realizing what happened early in this one, and I think for that reason alone, you're going to see caution be used for probably about the next 100 laps. So Rondoletto comes on the high side now. He pinches the inside car of Jordan Babinger right down against that white line. Tyler McRae has led each of the first 20 laps. It's been that 99 car out in front showing the way around the Texas Motor Speedway. They're going to come around and they're going to put Tim Skillman another lap down. Is Skillman. That car is having some issues right now. He has to bring it down pit road again. Tough break there for Skillman, who actually qualified fairly well, but unfortunately for Skillman, just a lot of damage to that car has brought him in and off the pit road all evening long. Here's your updated running order in the top 10. We have McRae, Babinger, Rondoletto, Sempruch, Gologly, Birchmere, By-Ones, Johnny B, Noah Carpenter, and Danny Ware. Those are your top 10 running right now. The lead pack is about 12 strong. And the other two cars in that lead pack are Steven Rex and Darren Snyder. Snyder runs in 11th, Rex in 12th. Here we go. Things are starting to get a little racy towards the front of this pack. Gologly has caught right up to the bumper now of Octavio Rondoletto. Gologly on the high side. He has a lot of help from Pedro Jose Luis By-Ones is giving him a push. Now Danny Ware has jumped up to the outside. So that outside lane is starting to form, and I think after getting some laps under their belt and getting a little bit more comfortable with the cars, I think these guys are starting to get more comfortable with getting a little racy here. As unfortunately, it looks like Kyle Streichars is now out of the race. The Streichars team has pulled that machine behind the wall, so Kyle Streichars is out of the race. A tough break there for the DBR 07. Streichars was looking to have a good run today, but looks like things just won't go his way. As we get back to the front of this field, though, Tyler McRae now has a challenge on the outside. Octavio Rondoletto has a train of cars helping him. That 77 car inches around the high side. He pinches the 48 right down against the bottom of the speedway, and it's Brad Gologly giving him a push, giving him a shove, and Brad Gologly up to fourth now. He's going to try to push that 77 of Octavio Rondoletto to the top spot, and a pretty sight for Rondoletto is right behind Gologly is his good friend Pedro Jose Luis By-Ones. By-Ones and Octavio Rondoletto, they go way back on iRacing. They're pretty good buddies, and Rondoletto really likes working with that number 16 car, or excuse me, the 28 of By-Ones. So we will see if he can maybe get by Gologly if By-Ones can, and get behind his buddy Rondoletto and maybe push him out to the front of the field. The outside lane has started to simmer down a little bit. We only have about 3 cars up there now. Danny Ware's decided to pull back in, as has Steven Rex. As now Danny Ware will jump back out to the outside again. I think Danny Ware's just trying to get feel right now. He actually didn't get a chance to run much practice or any of the heat races. He made it in based solely on points in his provisional. So Danny Ware, this is his first time hitting the Texas Speedway. And I think he's just trying to get a good feel on how this car is going to handle, what he's going to have to do to keep that car running near the front of this thing. As they get really racy up near the front of the field, it's Octavio Rondoletto and Jordan Babinger touching the doors there. Babinger on the low side, doing a good job getting a side draft off that 77, but it's that 77 continuing to man the high side. And he just won't go away right now, Will Rondoletto. He's comfortable running up there as those inside cars just push each other down the straightaway. Pretty much Babinger can be accredited for the lead McRae has, because Babinger's done such a good job giving McRae those pushes down the straightaway that no one on the outside has been able to get any sort of a run to challenge Tyler. So this time by, there are 200 laps left to go as we get the first 25 in the books. They say the first 25 are the hardest ones, and that has certainly been the case in this one, as we had 2 big wrecks early. This lead pack's still about 12 cars strong, and then you have to go back to the second pack where you have Luke Turpin, Derek Colson, and Alex Gangler running single file. Luke Turpin, after starting this race 2 laps down, already back up to 13th on the lead lap. Still 30 cars run on the lead lap. For Jeff Edgar, too, the Edgar 7 team has had to come down pit road. A tough break there for Jeff Edgar and company. It looks like something there has really taken him out of contention. So Edgar finds himself 4 laps down now after just exiting the pits. Tough break there for Edgar as we go back up to the front of the field. McRae now has a hard challenge on the outside. Rondoletto drives right on his side. They go side by side for that top spot. Gologly giving all the push in the world to Rondoletto. It just is not enough to overcome that inside line that's been running so strong here. As, a little bit squirrely there is McRae. He got kind of a weird push there from Babinger. And now it's going to be the 77 of Rondoletto with the nose ahead, heading down into turn number 3. McRae drives into the corner, though. It's a nice, smooth turns 3 and 4. And as he brings it off the corner, he is going to reclaim the top spot once again. Rondoletto loses the momentum. He gains it back as they come off the corner. This time by the stripe, it was Tyler McRae leading once again. Still, though, Rondoletto on the high side. He's inching closer and closer as we have a car in the wall. It's Steven Rex towards the back of the pack. Not sure what happened there with Rex, but he just got in defense a little bit. Looks like he was able to hang on, so no worse for wear. Actually, that was Johnny B, not Steven Rex. I apologize. Johnny B made contact with the outside wall in the 062, and he is now with the second pack. The second pack is caught up to him, so Johnny B will have to race back there. Up front, the battle for the lead is intense as ever, though. As McRae touches the inside wall, not the inside wall, excuse me, the inside white line, as Clinus LaBeouf has to bring his 03 car down pit road. Tough break there for LaBeouf as that car was running on the lead lap. Looks like damage from the first accident, though. Too much to overcome for the LaBeouf team as they continue to race for the top spot. McRae now is he keeps hitting that apron a little bit, and you got to be careful with that because one of these times McRae might hit the apron a little too hard, and he could shoot right up into the 77 of Rondoletto. We'll have to keep our eye on that and see if that becomes more of an issue as this thing continues to go on. That outside lane starting to lose some of their momentum as Brad Glogli has started to lose touch with the 77 of Rondoletto a little bit, and for Rondoletto, that's really the key for him right now. He needs Glogli to be sucked up to his bumper. He really needs all the help he can get from Brad Glogli. Tyler McRae now continues to show the fast way around the bottom of the Speedway. That 99 car getting a good side draft off the 77. These two continue to race side by side for the lead. Looking not a whole lot's changed. You know, these guys are all just kind of biding their time, and that's kind of part of the deal here of this restrictor plate racing. Is the 77 has the nose ahead heading into 3. As these races go on and the laps continue to tick away and tick away, you'll see them getting a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more aggressive. But a 225 lap race at Texas, honestly, the biggest key to this event is just passing time. And I actually own a team, if you didn't know. I own the 03 of Clinus LaBeouf, the 01 of John Schwartz, the 7 of Jeff Edgar, the 06 of Cody Jones, and the number 30 of William Carter. And in our pre-race meeting today, we all talked about what we wanted to do today, and I told them just bide their time. The biggest key to these super speedway races is just wasting time, you know? These laps have to tick away somehow. You're not going to win it in the first 200 out of 225 laps. I told them to just ride around single file towards the back of the field, miss the wrecks, and have a car at the end of it. And that's really the key to this race, is these guys just need to tick these laps away. As we get down closer and closer to the finish, then it'll become race time. That time by at the start-finish line, it was Tyler McRae by just 1/1000th of a second. McRae has still led every lap in this race so far, but Rondoletto, he's getting closer and closer to changing that as the laps continue to tick on. Rondoletto now with a bunch of help on the outside lane. Glogli has it hooked up right behind him. A good run early in this race for Brad Glogli. He's had a rough couple of weeks. He's been collecting a few wrecks these last few races. But Glogli finds himself racing strongly up inside the top 5 right now as the push car on the outside lane. And he's doing a good job proving that he belongs racing up near the front of this field. McRae is going to lead yet another lap. He's been clicking them off the stripe every time. These guys, their pit window is pretty big in this race. They got a full fuel cell this week. They're only going to have to make about 1 or 2 pit stops in this race. Green flag pit stops could be a factor, but if you're thinking about them already, don't get too excited. They won't be happening for quite some time. As Tyler McRae continues to show the way around and just waiting for maybe another car to jump up to the outside lane. As Brad Glogli gets all sorts of squirrely, he's going to hang out. Almost tough here for Glogli, but he was able to recover. Glogli now, though, he will lose touch with Rondoletto. Rondoletto now all by himself trying to fend for that second position on the high side. And for Rondoletto, that is tough because I just don't think he's going to be able to truly challenge McRae without that help from Glogli. Glogli was doing such a fine job of pushing him, but that little looseness there by Glogli is going to cost the outside lane. As they head down the backstretch, on his own, Rondoletto actually inches ahead in turn number 3. As McRae gives him a little bit of a door tap there as they come down into the corner. Nothing too bad there, just a gentle little kiss off the corner. McRae still holds the position. Jordan Babbinger doing a fantastic job right now pushing that 99 car. Certainly what McRae wants to see in his rearview mirror is that number 48 dropping bombs car. It's always nice to see a teammate in this track. Teamwork, you know, you might think about it in the street stocks and think it's not as important as, you know, the NASCAR Cup cars or the trucks or the nationwide cars. I argue that it's equally as important in the street stocks as it is in those series, just because if you can get 3 or 4 of your teammates on the inside lane and you guys can just stay tucked behind each other and push, no one will be able to touch the inside lane, and we've seen it happen quite a bit this week. With only 2 cars in the inside lane, you're able to defend the lead probably, but you still will have the outside lane challenging. Here they come, this time by the flag stand. That might have been Rondoletto, and it was not. McRae got it by 15/1000ths of a second. So still McRae leading every lap, but Rondoletto trying his best to change that. Now Gologly is caught back up to the 77 of Rondoletto, so Rondoletto is no longer by himself. The outside lane has started to form a little bit better here as the 100 of Danny Ware is pulling right up to the bumper of the 28 of Violence. Danny Ware runs directly behind him, and now jumping up to the outside will be Steven Rex in the 30, another dropping bombs car. We still have 4 dropping bombs cars up here in the lead pack. As the second pack has kind of simmered down a little bit. There's only 3 cars in the second pack. I'm not sure what happened. It's only Luke Turpin, Alex Gangler, and Jose Godino now. And now there's a third pack. That's Tyler Jalbert, Derek Colson, Greg Holes. And then a fourth pack with Johnny B, Jeremy Leto, Matthew Bear, and Sean Patrick. And then another. We just have a bunch of like 4-car packs behind the main big pack, which kind of is smart, honestly. Those guys are all just running 4 cars at a time, single file. And they're pretty much guaranteeing that unless they do something stupid, they're not going to wreck. As Brad Gologly goes way up the speed, and that kills the outside lane's momentum. Gologly got a little tight on entry there, and that's going to really hurt the outside's run, as Rondoletto will have to continue to run by himself. And Rondoletto has shown that he's capable of running that high side with no help. The problem is with it, unless Gologly gets up there and really gives him a good drafting partner, Octavio's probably never going to clear the inside lane unless McRae were to make some sort of big-time mistake here. So we'll have to see if that 4-car can really get his nose sucked up right behind the 77 and give him the help he needs. Maybe the name I've mentioned the least out of this lead pack is currently 8th place driver Noah Carpenter. Carpenter actually raced with us in the trucks earlier today, and he was leading for a lot of the first half of the race. Ended up finishing 3rd, but showed that he really knew this track well and had a good run. Carpenter kind of just biding his time right now. I haven't seen him jump out of line. I think that 42 understands that there's a lot of laps left to go in this race. He's just kind of happy to be tucked into that inside lane, riding with the lead pack right now. Just biding his time, much like everyone else. That 42 car doing a good job keeping that thing in a line. Here we go now as Octavio Rondoletto in the number 77 machine now draws even with the 99 down the backstretch. This outside lane, this might be their best chance to take the lead, as they have 4 cars now with Danny Ware jumping up to the high side. I'm sure Rondoletto would love if Darren Snyder, that number 30 of Steven Rex, would jump up there too and help him out. However, it's probably unlikely that Rex will do it, as Rex wants to help his teammates out, and he has 3 teammates on the inside lane and 0 on the outside. So you can probably imagine what Steven Rex is going to do there, as the outside lane still has yet to lead a lap, which in the heat races was kind of the opposite. We saw the outside lane leading most of the laps by a little bit over the inside lane. However, so far, 40 laps into the feature, McRae has led every single lap on that inside lane, as it is they have been getting the run off the corner every time and been able to lead at the stripe. Here we come once again, Rondoletto. We'll see if he can get a good enough run off the corner this time. He does get a pretty good run as they head towards the start-finish line, but it is not going to quite be enough. It is still McRae by about a bumper at the stripe, and it's been that way just about every time. The inside lane actually gets separated a little bit. Babinger lost contact from McRae. This might be Rondoletto's best chance of leading a lap here so far in this race. As Rondoletto on the high side has a lot of help from Gologly. Gologly gives him a shove heading down into turn 3. The 77 does inch ahead. We'll see as we go 3 and 4 if the 77 can finally lead a lap. Tyler McRae has led the first 41. Can Octavio Rondoletto lead the 42nd? They come off the corner. It's going to be close this time back down to the stripe. Rondoletto with a big run off the corner, but once again, just not quite enough. Close but no cigar, 13 1,000ths of seconds. They come up on the lap car now. I believe that's Tim Skillman, and Skillman's going to go way high to try to get out of their way, as everyone's going to try to make their way around Timothy Skillman. So Skillman heeds way to the leaders as they all go around him. 3 wide they go, but it shouldn't be an issue as long as Skillman's able to hold that car up on the high lane. It looks like he's able to, so able to survive. I don't think our leaders will have to worry about lap traffic now for a little while again. The next lap car in front of them is Kenny Tripp and Arthur Hendren, who are in 29th and 30th. Tripp on the lead lap, Hendren 2 laps down. So the lead pack continues to make laps around the Speedway. McRae continues to lead. He's led most of, or I should say all the laps here early in the going. Let's talk a little about 5th place driver Rafael Semprich. He races out of Germany, and this guy right now, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning over there where he's racing. However, when he heard about XCAL Racing, XCAL Racing runs their events exactly simulation style. We have a live race admin that throws the yellows only when they deem them necessary. They run things as realistically as they possibly can. XCAL Racing believes that iRacing was intended to be used as a simulation, and they try to do everything as much of a simulation as they can. And Rafael Semprich actually said he's been looking for this type of thing ever since he's gotten into sim racing about 25 years ago. So he was willing to race with us at 4 a.m. just to be part of these races. It's something he's always wanted to do. And I'll tell you what, he has to be a little tired racing that early in the morning. But Semprich right now running up in the top 5, biding his business, running up near the front of the field. I'm sure there's no complaints out of the Semprich 74 camp right now. But here he goes. McRae and Rondoletto get awfully close that time into the corner. It looked like McRae slipped up a little bit. The 77 of Rondoletto will continue to man the outside. This might be the lap. Rondoletto gets a good run off the corner. Here they come back to the start-finish line, and it is a dead heat at the stripe. But it is Tyler McRae by 7/1000ths of a second, so still nothing doing there yet. We still have 11 cars in this lead pack as Darren Snyder and Steven Rex just kind of are tagged on to the rear of the lead pack, just holding on for dear life, hoping to find their way near the front, biding their time right now. As that outside lane does get a good push from Brad Gologly. Gologly gets a huge shot in the rear bumper of Octavio Rondoletto. They continue to race side by side for the top spot. This time off the corner, let's see if Rondoletto can make it the lap. He's not gonna get a good enough run this time off the corner. They come back to the stripe, and it's going to be McRae leading again. We're going to take a look back at some of these other packs now, though I feel like we've been focused on the leaders for a while. So the second pack with Turpin, Gangler, and Godinos gained another car in Tim Skillman. Skillman is multiple laps down, but he's just going to kind of tag on to their draft and help out. You still have Jalbert, Coulson, and Holes running in that next pack. Then you have Johnny B, Matthew Bear, Cody Jones, Sean Patrick, John Schwartz, Jeremy Leto running in the next pack. They all run single file. Looks like they seem to be biding their time. Then 24th and 25th, Tyler Batchelder and William Karp run back there. 26th is Paul Coleman. 27th, Josh Rogers. 28th, Ben Eaton. And then 29th, you're going to have Kenny Tripp. Those are your cars in the lead lap. Cars that are just 1 lap down, there's none of them. Arthur Hendren is 2 laps down. Jeff Edgar 5 laps down. Finest LaBeouf 6 laps down. And a lot of these guys just got collected in some of those early wrecks and really haven't recovered yet. So don't worry if you think you're missing good racing in the middle of the pack. All those other packs are single file biding their times. The best racing is at the front of the field right now, as McRae and Rondoletto have been dueling for the lead for the first quarter of this race, as they now come up on the lap cars of Kenny Tripp and Art Hendren. Tripp, obviously, he probably won't hate to go a lap down because he will be the first car lap down eligible for the Lucky Dog, and there are no other cars that are 1 lap down. You still got to wonder, though, if Tripp and Hendren will probably try to tag on to the lead pack and maybe just run behind them and hopefully avoid any wrecks if any should occur. Once they get around those cars, though, there is no other lap traffic for a long time for our lead pack. So it looks like By One's thinks about making it 3 wide on Brad Gologly. He will not, though, as Danny Ware and him will slide back in the line. So here we come, this time off the corner. It's Rondoletto once again with a good run off the corner. He got really close that time at the stripe. Let's see if he led. He didn't. It was Tyler McRae by 4/1000ths of a second. It has been a matter of 1,000ths of a second pretty much every time by the stripe so far. That outside lane, they've been running good. They just can't seem to put it all together here so far, as they're now coming right up on that lap traffic. So let's see what happens here. They come right up on the 12 of Kenny Tripp and the 37 of Art Hendren. Where will these guys go? Tripp's going to continue to ride down low, and Tripp is going to be right in the way of Tyler McRae. Tripp gets below the white line. He's going to get out of the way of the leaders. That 37 goes way high. He gets a little loose. It is hectic here. 3 wide as they go around the lap cars. Tripp goes in the grass to get out of the way. And in the By Ones, huge wreck. Brad Gologly goes flipping. Caution is out as the lap car of Art Hendren is going to accidentally take out half the lead pack. Tough break there. Caution is out on the Speedway, and a terrible break there for Brad Gologly, who was having the best run of his XCAL career. What a tough run there for Brad Gologly, as he just got clipped by the 37 of Hendren. Also involved in that one, it looks like the 28 of By Ones went around. He didn't hit anything, though, so not much worse for their By Ones. As you see the replay, the 32 of Trevor Birchmere went around. He didn't really hit anything, although he got trapped on his roof, so he did have to end up going to pit road, and they ended up, they're going to repair that car now as the 32 comes down pit road, and he'll end up a couple laps down, but he'll still be in the running without a whole lot of damage. So a tough break there for Brad Gologly, as he was having a great run but got taken out by a lap car as they went around Art Hendren. An unfortunate break there, and that'll be the 3rd caution of the race on lap number 52. So this is a better time than ever, in my opinion, to key up our in-car reporter, Paul Coleman Jr. Paul, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You find yourself sitting 24th right now, and it looks like you were doing exactly what you said, just kind of biding your time, hanging out in a couple other cars' drafts, making sure you're staying on the lead lap, but for the most part, just kind of staying out of trouble back there.
Yeah, absolutely. Cart, Bachelor, and I we had a nice little three-way thing there. We were swapping positions, keying up how to draft, learning how to pass, all that. We're just having a good time. Kind of bummed we got that yellow right now, but we'll take some 4 tires and make a pit stop here.
All right, Paul. Well, that sounds good. And Paul, what's the fuel window look like for these cars? How many laps do you think you can go?
Give me 1 second. I'll ask my crew chief.
All right, Paul. Sorry, I'm not trying to distract you there.
Oh no, you're fine. I had 54 more laps left. My crew chief says so. We might be able to do this on one more stop.
All right, Paul. Well, thank you for your word. We'll let you enjoy your pit stop then and not bother you too much, as it does look like a lot of the leaders came down pit road. We're going to see who stayed out. It looks like Rafael Sempruch did stay out, and it looks like the only car that did decide to stay out on the speedway. So Sempruch will be the leader when things cycle through. We'll have to see who else, if anyone else stayed out, but it does not look like they did. So we'll see who wins the race off of pit road right now. Looking at Tyler McRae. McRae in that number 1 pit stall. He's led every lap in this race so far. Can he become the first car off pit road as they pack that thing full of fuel? Let's see. Looks like some of the cars are starting to peel out towards the rear of pit road. Still, none of these guys in the front of pit road have been good to go yet, as they still are just trying to pack every bit of fuel in there. Now here we go. Tyler Batch Elder is going to be the first car off of pit road, as Tyler McRae's crew still tries to pack that thing full of fuel. And I think the strategy for that team is to get as much fuel as they can every time, as Sempruch will be the sole car to stay out, as I have confirmed that. Just no one else that stayed out is really in position to battle for the top spot. They're all lap cars. So here we go, the battle off pit road. It looks like Tyler McRae is going to lose the race off pit road to Octavio Rondoletto. Jordan Babinger beat them both off, though. Tyler Jalbert, Ben Eaton, Danny Ware, and Tyler Batchelder also got him off pit road. So we're going to take a minute here, and we're going to try to key in the guy who's led the first 54 laps of this race, Tyler McRae. We're going to try to get a word in here with him. As here we go, we're keying up the radio of the 99 car right now. Tyler McRae, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Tyler, well, you've led the first 54 laps, or 53 laps of this race, excuse me. The cars look good out front. Lots of teamwork between you and Jordan Babinger. How are you feeling about this race so far, early in the going?
Not real too good. I just got an unsafe pit exit, so I'm going to the back. First lap, second place car doored me going in turn 1, so that was kind of a mess. My teammate, didn't give a lot of people room back there, and that gives a lap car. So that's a shame. Art's a good guy. He won't do anything on purpose. So I feel bad for the guys that got caught up in that. But right now I'm a lap down and I'm starting in the very back. So we'll see. We'll hang on and try to keep our nose clean and see if we can bring the dropping bombs 99 back up front.
All right, Tyler, well, thank you for your quick word. We'll let you get back with your team. That's Tyler McRae, driver of the number 99 machine, as he is correct. A lot of the field got trapped a lap down under that caution, as we are 2 to green right now. Here's an updated running order, as most of the field did get trapped a lap down. Here, we're kind of just waiting for things to organize themselves out here. But here is the running order. First place is Rafael Sempruch, who did not come down pit road. He stayed out. He can make it another 50 or so laps on gas. And honestly, I like that strategy by Sempruch. I think he has pulled a fast one on the field, and he got himself the track position, which may be key. He's pretty much betting that there won't be a caution, or he's betting that there will at least be one caution in the next 50 laps. And I feel like that's a fairly safe bet. It's not guaranteed, but there's a good chance you get that. Second place is Danny Ware. Third's Ben Eaton. Fourth is Tyler Jalbert. Fifth is going to be Alex Gangler. Sixth, Darren Snyder. And seventh will be Tyler Batchelder. And those are the only cars left on the lead lap. One lap down, there's going to be a mess of cars. 8th through 27th are just one lap down. And then in 28th, you have Trevor Birchmere 2 laps down. Brad Gologly, 29th, 3 laps down. And then you continue to go through the list, and cars end up more and more laps down. So a tough break there for a lot of these guys that they got trapped a lap down. This time by, though, they will get one lap till we go green flag racing, and things have completely changed up at the front of the field. It is now in the front. It's going to be Rafael Sempruch, Danny Ware, and Ben Eaton. And also the way things are organized here. Sempruch, Ware, and Eaton are the top 3, and they're out front. Even though Snyder, Gangler, and Jalbert and Batchelder are on the lead lap, they all opted to come down pit road and top those cars off of field a second time. So they're on the lead lap, but they're going to be lined up with a lot of the guys that are trapped one lap down. They're mired back with like the back of the pack. So those guys won't be up front racing for the lead. Semperuch, though, he will be able to race for the lead with Ware and Eaton. It's going to be about a three-man battle for the top spot. And this is the point in the race where things start to get a little bit goofy when pitch strategy comes into play. We're going to see a lot of things getting kind of weird here. With that being said, though, we are going to take a quick 30-second timeout for station identification. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Telesign TV. Welcome back here to the Don't Mess with Texas 225. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, as we get ready to get things back underway. Coming down the backstretch for the last time is Rafael Semperuch, as Danny Ware and Ben Eaton are second and third, but all those other cars you see lined up are one lap down. They got trapped a lap down by pitch strategy. And really, we have a bunch of variety of cars running in a variety of different spots. Things are really jumbled up right now, so let's see how this restart goes. They come down and it turns 3 and 4. It's going to be Semperuch leading the field with the green flag in his German national car. They come down through 3 and 4. That iRacing Ford Mustang is going to make that hard left-hand turn off the corner, leaving the field at the mercy of the 74 team. Texas Terry Labonte holds the green flag in air, and he lets it wave. Green flag in the air. We're down and away, and Semperuch on the inside lane getting a good jump. He's going to take that spot away from Danny Ware for the time being. However, Ware gets a lot of help from Rondoletto on the high side. And these lap cars, they're going to want to unlap themselves naturally. They probably don't want to wait for a caution after rely on the wave rounds. So don't be surprised if you see that 77 try to fight his way up to the top spot. We're going to have to see what happens here. So on the high side, it's the 77 of Rondoletto giving a big push down the backstretch to Danny Ware. Now Rondoletto makes it 3 wide. He goes up the middle with Danny Ware, and Rondoletto's going to try to rocket out in front of the lead. He races on the high side of Semperuch. He wouldn't be in the lead. Sorry, that's to unlap himself. So the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto working hard here to try to get himself just onto the lead lap. He has a lot of help now from Danny Ware, who is our second place car on the outside lane. Danny Ware gives a big shove to the 77 of Rondoletto, and Rondoletto desperately wants to clear the number 74 Rafael Semperuch, as Paul Coleman Jr. did receive a black flag for that restart. So tough break there for the Coleman 38 team, as they're going to have to bring that car down pit road. But up front, it is Semperuch leading and Rondoletto fighting to get his lap back. Now Noah Carpenter fights his way back up into the mix, and he's going to try to fight to get his lap back. Only 6 cars on the lead lap right now. Actually, 7 cars, on the lead lap, and only 3 of them are up here in the lead pack. So really a bunch of goofy racing going on, as now Danny Ware just tries to get that 77 car in front of the 74. Nothing doing yet. Rafael Semperuch doing a good job for his sponsors right now, though. Took some pitch strategy to get that car out in front, but he's been running up in the top 5 all evening long. It's certainly not he doesn't deserve to be running in the lead right now. That car has been a front runner for most of this race, as the Romeo Guest Construction number 74 goes to the inside, and now he's going to hold on to that top spot for the time being. So Semperuch pulling a little strategy out here, and he has that car out in front, as they make contact racing, the 2 lap cars, the 42 and 20 of Godino, and that is Noah Carpenter on the outside, touch for the 9th and 10th spots. On that high side, though, Rondoletto is just not able to clear Semperuch, not able to get his lap back like he would like to. As Danny Ware runs right tucked in on his bumper now as they go down the backstretch. It is the 77 car inching ahead, and if a caution were to fly right now, Noah Carpenter put in the middle, and Noah Carpenter turns the 2nd and 3rd place cars of Danny Ware and Ben Eaton. They go around, no caution will fly. Kind of a questionable move there by Carpenter to stick his nose in there. Wasn't really a hole, but he stuck it in there anyways. Danny Ware, understandably so, was not very happy after that one, as Ware does get the car going, and will Ben Eaton. Those are the only 2 cars that were involved. They just spun. They get things back going, so those cars will get back onto the Speedway. That just means that Rafael Sempruch, though, is now in the lead. That'll make second place Darren Snyder. Darren Snyder is 3.5 seconds behind the leader in a third pack. So Darren Snyder is nowhere even close to the lead right now, but he is in second, and Rafael Sempruch now just up in front. If I was Rafael, to be perfectly honest with you, I wouldn't even race with these guys too hard. I'd let these lap cars have the spot if they want it that bad, to avoid what happened to Danny Ware. And for Sempruch, he is in his own zip code right now. That 74 machine, way out in front of the pack right now, is now that 77 of Rondoletto races to his high side. Rondoletto gets a good side draft through the corner, and he has a lot of help with that 42 car on the outside. Carpenter, he did just cause that wreck with Danny Ware. However, he would also like to get his lap back, so don't be surprised when he helps the 77 of Rondoletto, as this time by, Rondoletto almost clears the 74 of Rafael Sempruch. Just wasn't quite there yet, and now Carpenter's going to drop down low. He's going to help the 74 of Sempruch as these 3 race alone up front. Looking through the field, though, we do have a pretty good battle going on right now for that is 10th and 11th with Matthew Barrett, Jose Gaudino. 12th Greg Holes, 13th Stephen Rex, 14th Jeremy Leto, and 15th Pedro Bywans, all in that battle right now. But that's kind of our second little pack right now. As up front, it's still Rondoletto just trying to find his way around that 74 car as the side draft gets a little wild there. We have a car dropping bound below the yellow or the white line, that's Greg Holes. As Jose Gaudino gets way squirrely, he's going to come up the racetrack. Let's see if he can collect it. It does look like Gaudino will get things collected, as that was a tough break there for Jose. Looks like he will be able to recover, though, and keep that machine rolling. So really no worse for wear there here in the early going for Jose Gaudino. Looking throughout the field scene where we have some other battles going on, we still have that second pack with Darren Snyder, who runs in second. Third place, Tyler Jalbert. Fourth place, Tyler Batch-Elder. Third place, Tyler Jalbert is in the same pack as Darren Snyder. Snyder's at the front of that pack. At the rear of that pack is Jalbert. Then in another pack that's kind of a little bit further back is fourth and fifth place, Tyler Batch-Elder and Alex Gangler. They're kind of racing side by side right now. Trevor Birchmere is 2 laps now. And just so many different strategies going on right now, it's almost hard to keep up with. We do have 7 cars in the lead lap, though, and then 8th through 26th are just 1 lap down. And certainly all those cars are still in contention. Tyler McRae, who led the first 53 laps of this race, currently sits in 25th, just running alone right now with his teammate Johnny B. So he's probably not too antsy to get his car up and all that mess right now and get involved in possibly some trouble. Up front, though, the lead pack has started to take shape a little bit more, as some of these cars have caught back up. Now you have Noah Carpenter running right on the bumper of Sempruch. On the high side, you have Jeremy Leto now running behind Octavio Rondoletto. Those 2 are teammates, so we'll see if maybe he helps his teammate get around the 74. Here we come, that 24 car of Leto now, catching up right to the bumper of Octavio Rondoletto. He uses the side draft on the high side. No, Noah Carpenter gets up into the 77 of Rondoletto, makes a little contact there. I'll tell you what, Noah Carpenter is not making any friends in this race right now. He has been racing awfully aggressively, and I'm sure a lot of these guys are not happy with that 42 car right now, as he gives the 74 a nice little push into the corner. Here comes Jeremy Leto now, right up to the bumper of his teammate Octavio Rondoletto. Both those guys are driving the Telesign TV cars. They drive for Tanner Kalin's Telesign team as they race on the high side. Both those cars are 1 lap down, but they are the first 2 cars 1 lap down, running in 8th and 10th. I should say 2 of the 3, as Carpenter is also 1 lap down on that inside. They continue to side draft aggressively, and Carpenter shoves him up the Speedway. Carpenter gets underneath Sempruch. He is way below the white line. Carpenter needs to reestablish himself. Carpenter will let Sempruch take the spot, and Carpenter will just slide in the line. I think Carpenter understands there that he'd been racing very aggressively the last few laps, and if he did that move, he might have found himself parked for a week or 2 from XCAL. So probably smart thinking there on the 42 of Carpenter. And I'll tell you what, this early in the race, he really just needs to cool his jets a little bit. And I know for a younger kid like Noah Carpenter, he's one of the younger members of this league, no doubt. He really, he is good for how young he is, too. He finds himself racing for wins quite a bit. I know when you're young, though, from my own experience, I'm only 22, but I can remember a time when I was about Noah Carpenter's age. I know the patience doesn't run very long. The patience runs thin when you're that young. And for him, he might just not have the wherewithal, especially this young in his racing career, to know that this is a 225 lap race, and on lap number 70, You don't want to be racing the leaders that are a lap ahead of you this aggressively right now. Yes, you want to get your lap back, and yes, you want to fight to get that lap back. But there's a difference between fighting and going below the white line and putting the leader in jeopardy. And I think that's something Carpenter needs to learn as he makes door contact there with the 77 of Rondoletto. They touch off the corner again. 77 and 42 have been beating on each other now. As here comes the 77 of Rondoletto as he tries to take his lap back on the high side with help from Jeremy Leto. Jeremy Leto gets right up to his bumper, those Telesign TV cars on the outside. Nothing doing yet. They just can't quite get that lap back. As the battle for second has heated up a little bit. Let's go back to the battle for second. Darren Snyder runs on the high side on the inside. Tyler Jalbert trying to take the spot away. Those two have found themselves running nose to tail in a pack of lap cars. Darren Snyder, a good run for Snyder, returning to XCAL Racing this week. He took a few week hiatus. He's back now though, as we're about a third of a way into this race. He finds himself running right up in the top two. He runs in second. Due to a bunch of screwy pitch strategy, he's not closer to the front than I'm sure he'd like to be. Still that 13 car, running well on the high side of the Speedway. On the inside of him is that William Karp 33 machine, who we haven't said his name a whole lot yet tonight. He actually finished 4th in the truck race today, so Karp has shown speed at the Texas Speedway so far this weekend. The battle for second will simmer down for a moment. As we look back up front, not a whole lot's changed. It's still Carpenter pushing Semprich on the inside, and on the high side, it feels like that 77 of Octavio Rondoletto has been the first car on the high side this whole race. And it probably feels that way because he has been. The first run, he was racing side-by-side with Tyler McRae for the entire event. And now the second run, he's been racing with Rafael Semprich to get his lap back this entire time. I'll tell you what, by the end of this race, if it comes down to the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto starting in second position, he will have just as much experience as probably anyone on the iRacing simulation as to what it takes to battle on the outside line for the lead. So the 77 continues to try to get some side draft. Unfortunately, his teammate Jeremy Leto has not been much help yet. Leto has been able to get up to him, but he just hasn't been able to give him a really good push to help him try to get up there and really challenge the 74 for his lap. Fortunately for Rondoletto, though, if this caution were to fly right now, he would be one of the 3 cars to be receiving their laps back. As Noah Carpenter slides up the Speedway a little bit towards Jeremy Leto, those two are getting real close. I'd keep an eye on that. Those are 2 very aggressive drivers. Let's see what happens here, if that can maybe break out. As now Pedro Byons is going to give the 24 a little bit of a shove there into the corner. Nothing too major, just a little bit of a push. So it's going to be Pedro Byons is trying to help Leto get up to Rondoletto. As now Rondoletto pinches that 74 way down low on the Speedway. As Rafael Semprich leading a lot of laps here in the second run, but it is worth noting that, remember, he did not pit that first pit stop, the only car that did not visit pit road. So Rafael Semprich, he is going to have to come down pit road sometime around the lap 105, 110 mark. And that's when we're going to find out what he is really made of. If that 74 is going to come down for a splash, he's going to come down for a full tank. I'm not sure, but that 74 at this point, I bet you he's kind of hoping to see the caution, because if he could get the caution, that would play directly into his strategy. If not, we'll have to see what he does here. I'd be curious to see if he goes from full tank or maybe a quarter tank. I'm not sure what the game plan would be there for the 74 Semprich. As they continue to run in the lead, though, getting good airtime for their sponsors. They lead the way around the Texas Motor Speedway, the Great American Speedway here from Fort Worth, Texas. Things getting a little squirrely in this lead pack now. The racing's starting to pick up a little bit as Byons gives a little bit of a bump there to Jeremy Leto. Leto is going to get a little bit sideways, but he hangs on to it, so Leto still is going to continue to be the second car on that outside lane. Not really no worse for wear there yet. As speaking of Ware, Danny Ware still on the lead lap in 6th, though you might remember him and Ben Eaton were involved in that wreck earlier. Danny Ware finds himself running near Paul Coleman Jr., our in-car reporter. Unfortunately for Paul, due to a penalty, he finds himself 3 laps down in 28th. So we will have to see if Paul Coleman can make his way back up towards the front of the field. Update on a change of position, too. Tyler Jalbert has taken away the second position from Darren Snyder. So you can move the 04 car up one more spot as they go around the very slow lap car of Bruce Helmuth. Helmuth wasn't involved in that first huge wreck on lap number 1. That 25 car, I think, is down a couple of cylinders. He's just turning laps around the Speedway. So we look at the 04 of Tyler Jalbert right now. He's followed closely behind by Luke Turpin. Jalbert up to the second position. Don't forget, Jalbert did win the first heat race tonight. And actually, Luke Turpin actually just had his spotter tell the 04 spotter, he said, hey, just ride right now, man. We need to take things easy. We need to calm things down. No reason to race too hard right now in the second pack as the leaders are kind of racing a little hectic up there right now. Might as well just bide our time and see what can happen. So Semperuch does continue to show the way around the speedways. This lead pack is about, let me count, 7 cars deep. That lead pack runs about 7 cars deep, and really nothing too antsy right now, knock on wood, but I really don't see where a caution would fly. These guys aren't doing anything too hectic. For a little while there, Carpenter was really beating and banging off these leaders. However, I think that I think he started to get the memo that these guys were starting to get fed up with this stuff. And ever since then, he's kind of just slid in the line, minded his own business, and not been ticking anyone off as he runs right on the bumper of Rafael Semperuch. Semperuch, though, I just love the fact that he's leading this race right now. This is really the most laps he's led in an XCAL race. And he's been good at the Super Speedway races. When we went to Michigan for the big Super event, he found himself running up in the top 3 with under 5 laps to go, racing for that win. Unfortunately, there was an accident that made him lose the lead draft. He still brought his car home in 5th place, though, as now on the high side, Octavio Rondoletto has help from his best friend, Pedro Jose Luis Baiwans. Baiwans pushing the 77. But for Semperuch, it's just such a good story that he's always wanted to find a league like XCAL Racing that does the things that XCAL Racing does. Been searching for 25 years. Actually, I think it's longer than that. He's been racing since about 1989 on simulations. He got one of the first ever simulations to come out and has been hooked since. And we see Semperuch leading this race. What a great feeling it has to be for him to know that he finally found what he always wanted. And not only that, but he's leading the race here in one of XCAL's big events. Finds himself getting a lot of camera time in front of this field, racing side by side with Octavio Rondoletto. Baiwans now loses a little bit of contact from his buddy there in the 77. This time by 80 laps in the books. 80 laps in the books as we continue to click him away. Another driver worth highlighting too. Let's highlight Alex Gangler. Alex Gangler running in 5th right now. For Gangler, this was the first time that he qualified for an XCAL race based on his heat race finish. He had to qualify via provisional every other XCAL race he's ever qualified for. This one he finished 4th in heat race number 3, was able to transfer to the feature, and now due to good pitch strategy and just keeping his wits about him, he finds himself running in the 5th position right now. And for Alex Gangler, a superb run right now as that 82 Allegiant airline car is doing a good job just kind of biding his time behind Josh Rogers and staying out of trouble. Truly a good run for him. As looking back to that second pack, the battle for second might heat up a little bit here as Darren Snyder is driven up on the outside of Luke Turpin. Snyder now is trying to close in on that 0-4 of Tyler Jalbert, trying to challenge him for second once again. Turpin has made it clear that he would just like to ride in the second pack right now. Snyder looking a little bit racy though on that high side. He wants to take second position back. It is worth noting that this will likely be for the lead in about 25 laps, because Semperuch is going to have to come down pit road at some point if we don't get a caution here. And when he does, whichever one of these two guys are out in front will cycle through to the lead. Tyler Batch-Elder has now found himself in this pack with Jalbert and Snyder, so we do have 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all running right next to each other right now as Batch-Elder works up to the rear bumper of Darren Snyder. Snyder runs on the high side right now of Luke Turpin as they go around the racetrack, and Batch-Elder gives him a little bit of a tap down the back straightaway. Up front, Octavio Rondoletto side drafting very, very close with the 74 Rafael Semperuch. Off the corner, he almost gets hooked by his teammate Baiwans. Baiwans is going to let him recover. This time by, it's going to be Rondoletto being on the lead lap. He had his lead lap back that time by at the stripe, but it wasn't quite enough to clear Semperuch. He's getting closer and closer to achieving that, though. Let's see if he can maybe make it happen as the 42 just keeps sliding up and dooring those guys and really killing the momentum, as the 77 must not be very happy with Noah Carpenter right now. If I had to take a wild guess. The top 5 has started to break away a little bit, or 5 front-running cars, I should say, as a lot of these guys are a lap down, have started to break away a little bit from Derek Colson, Matthew Bear, and Jeremy Leto. Still, though, it's great racing up here between these guys. I mean, everyone's fighting for absolutely everything. Rondoletto fighting for his lap back. Semperuch, I think for him right now, it's not important for him to be in front of any of these guys. I think for him, though, as he slides up and hits Rondoletto a little bit, Rondoletto's going to get loose. I think it's important right now for Semperuch as him and Rondoletto touch doors again. To get a feel for this racing, learn how the racing is going to go late in the race. I'm sure there's a lot of valuable things that are being added to the notebook right now of that number 7014. And I have no doubt that he's likely having a good time up there racing with these guys and just taking some notes, figuring out, hey, what am I going to do late in the race when I find myself in this position or this position. Certainly a lot to be learned right now for the 7014, despite being not really challenged for the top spot. Update back in the second pack. We do have a battle for second. On the high side, Tyler Batchelder races with his teammate Tyler Jailbird. That time by at the stripe, it was Batchelder in second, so Batchelder, for the time being, has taken second away, and he's going to slide down in front of Jailbird, so move the 53 car out in the second. Now Jailbird will be in third, although he has a challenge on the high side from Darren Snyder. Snyder on the high side, trying to make his way up to third. He has help on that outside lane from Sean Patrick and Jose Godino. That 454 car on the inside lane, you can tell Luke Turpin's saving an awful lot right now. That 454 car is just not on the gas that hard, just kind of riding behind these guys, watching them battle it out. You can certainly see that Turpin is in no rush to get up to the front right now. So these two teammates, the 53 and 04, will now ride nose to tail. There's really no reason for them to race that hard. They are just teammates running second and third, and caution will fly. Exactly what Rafael Sempruch wanted to see. His caution is out on the Speedway. It did happen near the front of the field, and it was Octavio Rondoletto. A terrible break there for Rondoletto as he was in a transfer spot. We'll see what happened there in just a moment on the replay. And here you go. Him and his buddy, Pedro Jose Luis Baiwans, were bump drafting in the corners, and Baiwans just hooked him in his quarter panel ever so slightly, sent the 77 car spinning right in front of Derek Colson. Baiwans slammed the inside wall. Looks like he's going to have a good bit of nose damage on that car. A terrible break there for Rondoletto. However, Colson looks like he's not going to be much worse for wear. So caution will fly on the racetrack. Sempruch wanted to see that desperately. Now he's going to be able to come down pit road, and he's going to be right back on the main pit strategy for everyone else. So early in this race, it's Rafael Sempruch's pit strategy that's going to make him the man to beat early in this one. We're going to try to catch up with a couple guys here. First and foremost, though, let's catch up with our in-car reporter today, Paul Coleman Jr. Paul, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yeah.
Paul, first off, can you take us through what happened on that restart there that led to you getting the black flag? Because I did see out of the corner of my eye that you received one.
Yeah, ask admin. I have absolutely no idea. The car didn't start because it was broken, and I hit, and I don't know what happened with everybody losing their lap. That got kind of all wacky. But anyways, rather than running the back of them and break two cars, I just moved to the side, and I guess I got a black flag for that. So it is what it is.
It is what it is there, my friend Paul. For you now, 3 laps down, though. Obviously, a lot of guys still trapped a lap down. You're probably not going to get one of your laps back this time, though. Certainly, though, you have a clean car. You're only 3 laps down. For you, the spirits still have to be kind of high, right? You have to be thinking you still have a shot at this thing if you can get a few cautions.
Yeah, I'm going to need like 30 cautions. So, no, spirits are very the opposite of high right now. I have a clean car. I'm fast. I was hanging out there with Danny Ware. But yeah, with the amount of cars lapped down and only 3 wave rounds, yeah, we're going to need like a bomb to go off in the front or something to take out the field for me to have any chance.
I will tell you, Paul, looks like all the leaders are going to come into pit road here. And you got to think, though, that some of these guys that are a lap down are not going to pit and take their lap back. I'll be honest with you, Paul. I think your spirit should be a little bit higher. I think you're sitting in slightly better position than you're giving yourself credit for right now.
We'll see how it plays out. Well, thank you for the pep talk there, and keep up the good work. My crew chief, evidently, he was laughing hysterically at one of your comments, all-time comments. So keep up the good work there, Petey.
I think I know what you're talking about there, Paul. That's Paul Coleman Jr., driver of the number 66 machine. As all the leaders come down pit road, we're going to take a 30-second timeout for station identification, then we're going to come back and catch word with Tyler Jailbird. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Telesign TV. Welcome back here to Telesign TV. My name's PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, as we get ready to get things back underway. And looks like a lot of cars are going to be back on the lead lap here as things kind of cycle out for the field. We're going to talk to Tyler Jalbert here, though, as he's going to get his car back going. Just going to quickly dial up his channel. All right, and there we go. Tyler Jalbert. It's a PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you, PD.
Well, Tyler, wacky pitch strategy found you running up in second there on that run. It looks like a lot of guys just biding their time so far. So tell me, Tyler, how do you feel about your chances due to the kind of the weird pitch strategy we've seen so far? And for you and your guys, are you guys just trying to ride it out right now there at a mainly asphalt?
It's kind of split. You got, Tyler and Kenny want to go back, and I'm thinking it's better to go up front. So I think we're going to work together here in this green flag and see if we can work to the front.
All right, Tyler, well, as this race goes on, what are some of the biggest keys you've noticed to this race? What are making the fast guys fast right now here at Texas, in your opinion?
I think it's just, willing to go on the outside. If you can get a good group and, everyone's single file, if you go to the outside, you can make quite a few passes. It all depends on who wants to go out there.
All right, Tyler, well, thank you for the quick word. Best of luck moving forward, and hopefully we can talk to you after the race, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, that was Tyler Jalbert, driver of the 04 mainly asphalt machine, as he currently finds himself, looks like he is running in 8th after that caution. So we're going to update you on how things run here from the Texas Speedway. Running in first position is actually going to be Alex Gangler, and second is going to be Danny Ware. Third place is going to be Ben Eaton. Fourth, John Schwartz. Fifth, Cody Jones. 6th, Darren Snyder. 7th is going to be Tyler Jalbert. 8th, Noah Carpenter. 9th, Stephen Rex. 10th, Matthew Bear. 11th, Jeremy Leto. 12th, Greg Holes. 13th, Octavio Rondoletto. 14th, Luke Turpin. And 15th will be Tyler Batchelder. 15 cars are now on the lead lap. 16th through 24th are trapped 1 lap down. And then you have 25th, 26th, and 27th 2 laps down. And then you have Paul Coleman Jr. in 28th, 3 laps down. And I was telling Paul he's not in terrible shape. If he gets like 2 or 3 more cautions here, he'll start getting some laps back. And hopefully for our buddy Paul, he can start getting those cautions and getting those laps back. Although for us here up at the broadcast booth, we do not want to see those cautions. We would like to see this thing go green as much as humanly possible. One thing I'm looking at here too is it does look like the 74 car of Rafael Semperuch. He came down pit road and took the full tank of gas, so he actually got himself trapped 1 lap down. And Semperuch, after amazing strategy, got him a lap ahead of the field almost. Unfortunately, he did have to take a ton of fuel when he came into the pits, and now he's once again 1 lap down, although he is one of those first 3 cars a lap down. If caution were to fly, he would be sitting in position to make up that spot. So our race leader right now is Alex Gangler, as we have a really goofy restart here. Gangler's going to be on the outside. It looks like on the inside is going to be all lap cars, as that is Alex Gangler on the outside. Inside, Jose Gaudino. Also, we have Tim Skillman, Pedro Bywans, Rafael Semperuch. Just a lot of lap cars down there. But on the high side, you have Danny Ware and Alex Gangler first and second. The third car on the outside, Josh Rogers, is a lap down. And then you have to go back to the back of the field where you have John Schwartz, Cody Jones, Darren Snyder all running back there. So once again, it's going to be Gangler out in front of the field and Danny Ware right behind him. We'll have to see what happens here as they come off the corner. Gangler going really slow. The pace car makes the left-hand turn. Field at the mercy of Alex Gangler. Here they come to the green flag. Texas Terry lets it wave. Green flag in the air. We're down and away. And Alex Gangler really didn't go that well there. He kind of checked up the field a little bit, although he did get going eventually. He now races on the outside of Jose Gaudino. Gaudino is a lap car, though, for Gangler. If he can just get that car down in the line, he probably can just take the lead and race in there. I doubt Danny Ware's going to want to race him too hard. So here we go. Gangler is just going to let Danny Ware go, actually. Gangler decides he doesn't want the lead. He lets Danny Ware take it. Ware goes to the inside now. They are 3 wide back there with Pedro Bywans, Tim Skillman, and another car on the outside lane. Hectic racing there in the middle of the pack. Looks like everyone's going to get sorted out. Oh, Alex Gangler spins! Alex Gangler is going to spin from second, and he spins onto the apron. Our leader of Alex Gangler lost it on his own. A tough break there for Gangler, as Danny Ware now is going to fight back up to the top spot. Oh, terrible break there for Alex Gangler as he was having the run of his career. Looks like he might have got a little nervous, though, in the moment and lost control of the car. He's now back in 15th. Up front, Danny Ware has taken the lead. That makes second place John Schwartz as he's mired back in the middle of the pack. Schwartz races with his teammate Cody Jones, who runs right on his bumper right now. So Jones is just racing there with them. Actually, no, second place is going to change. That's going to be Tyler Jalbert, who's going to be up to second now. And we talked to Jalbert during the caution there, and he said that his strategy was go. He didn't want to ride in the back of the pack. He wanted to get up front, race, get the experience running near the front of the field. So for Jalbert, we're going to see him try to make it to the front of the pack as he goes to the outside now of 25 of Helmuth. He would like to make his way up to Danny Ware, as we know that Tyler Jalbert is no stranger to trying to get involved in some racing here. He runs right on the bumper of Helmuth, and Helmuth is kind of a team-affiliated car for him, so maybe he'll just ride Helmuth to the front if possible. He runs right in the tire tracks right now there. Noah Carpenter's up to third. Fourth is going to be Stephen Rex. Fifth is now John Schwartz is just getting out of the way. It looks like the Big Block Motorsports car following the team orders there and just trying to fall to the back of the field and avoid all the wrecks. So the BBM car is just trying to get out of the way here. Too early in the race for them to go racing, they believe. And so they're dropping to the back of the field right now. As now Luke Turpin is making moves. Luke Turpin back on the lead lap. We haven't had to say his name a whole lot tonight just because started the race 2 laps down after having problems getting the car to fire. And then he got trapped a lap down with all the pit strategy. Now he's in the lead lap in 9th. We'll see if Turpin starts to make a charge. As it would be interesting to see. As we have Johnny B making a little contact there with Noah Carpenter as they race side by side. Johnny B a lap down in 21st. On the lead lap is Noah Carpenter racing in 4th. So kind of different runs going on for both those guys right now. Up front, though, it is Danny Ware. He's just tucked in right now behind Pedro Jose Luis Bywans. Happy to run in front of the 100 car. That makes him only 1 lap down compared to 2 laps down. So for Bywans, this is big for him right now. So here we go. It's the 74 of Semprich now racing to the outside of Ware. It looks like Semprich wanting to take his lap back. As Rafael Semprich is the first car 1 lap down in 16th after leading a lot of this race. That 74 car has been the biggest staple at the front of the field for the first 100 laps. Even if he's on the lead lap or not, that 100 car has been running right up in the front. So we make our way back into the field a little bit. Jeremy Leto is now up to 3rd. Leto's following his teammate Octavio Rondoletto up through the field. Or actually, they're 6th and 7th, excuse me, not up to 3rd. Sorry, I had a weird standing board up on my screen that made it look different than it really is. Darren Snyder is up in 5th. He races right on the bumper of 4th place Stephen Rex. Looks like those two are going side by side right now for 4th and 5th position. Snyder on the inside, outside Stephen Rex. It's going to be Darren Snyder inching the nose ahead as he's just following that 062 of Johnny B. And on the outside, it's going to be Rex taking the position at the stripe. As noting the work of Tyler Jalbert, that 04 car, making it 3 wide. Or he's going to be involved in a 3 wide situation, I should say, as Rogers and Derek Colson go up the speedway. Colson gets into the fence. Colson's going to hang on to it. Colson does save the race car. He's not too happy with Josh Rogers, though. And for Tyler Jalbert, that's just more cars he's made his way around. Jalbert inching closer and closer to the front of the field. Is now Rafael Semprich, actually, has raced around Danny Ware, so Semprich has taken his lap back. Danny Ware just kind of content to ride right now. He is so far ahead of the rest of the field that he knows he's leading. He knows he's getting his TV time. And the Ware 100 car just really, he doesn't feel the need to keep these guys a lap down. He's letting them have their laps back if they want to race them that hard. So Danny Ware kind of doing the nice guy thing. If he does bide his time for too long, though, the 04 of Tyler Jalbert is coming. Jalbert is running right on the bumper of that 32 of Trevor Birchmere, and he is pushing that 32 car up to the lead pack. Jalbert, I keep saying it, but we talked to him in an interview. He said he was not going to waste time. He said he was going to get going. He's made that very clear on this run as he's been trying to force that 04 car up to the front of the field. As it's kind of the opposite of those BBM cars I was talking about. They were running up in the top 5. Actually, John Schwartz and Cody Jones, they have dropped back to behind the whole field. Those two just running on their own right now, trying to bide their time, trying to avoid any further incidents. As also running with them is going to be their teammate Jeff Edgar. So those cars kind of just all minding their own P's and Q's right now. As we look on for the battle for 3rd, is about to heat up as Noah Carpenter races to the inside of Bruce Helmuth. Mess of cars behind him start to get tight, and Octavio Rondoletto gets shoved up the speedway by Johnny B. Ronnie Lee. Don't know what I'm saying there. Johnny B's going to hang on a lap down. Octavio Rondoletto is now going to slide in the line behind Johnny B. Let's see if Rondoletto makes it tight here with the 062. Rondoletto runs right on his bumper, and he gets up and he gives the 062 a little shove. He pushes him up the speedway. Here comes Rondoletto to the inside. Johnny B having none of it so far. Johnny B drives him down. Rondoletto fights back onto the speedway. This could get bad here in a moment, and Johnny B's going to heave way. Johnny B's going to let Octavio go around. So Johnny B just kind of gets out of the way. Darren Snyder makes contact, and Darren Snyder is going to hang on to the race car. It looks like, oh no, he noses into the wall. There's a wreck. I don't know if a caution will fly. It looks like it won't. Darren Snyder with contact there. He's going to keep the car going, and caution now will fly, as there was a caution that started all with Darren Snyder. I believe Tyler McRae also got a piece of that. And a tough break there for both those guys, although I don't think any of them got too much damage there. We will have to see what happened, as that will actually let more cars get back on the lead lap. And at the time of caution, Rafael Semprich was on the lead lap, so he had raced his way back in the top spot. We'll have a replay up for you in a moment. And the replay goes up. It looks like the 13 and 30 were racing side by side for fourth. And a little bit of net code it almost looks like. I don't think they actually touched, but it just got the 13 sideways, and then the 99 got into him as well. Nothing really Tyler McRae could have done there. There was nowhere to go. And that brought out the caution. So that is the fourth caution in this race as we go under yellow once again. And now we will see more cars get back on the lead lap. That will bring back Jose Gaudino, William Carpin, and Johnny B. They will all get their laps back as we see a lot of the leaders coming down pit road this time. So now we're going to mic up our in-car reporter again, Paul Coleman Jr. Paul, it's Petey. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Paul, well, tell me, are the spirits getting any higher down there in the 38 car team? Because now we're seeing 21 cars are going to be on the lead lap, maybe more if some of these guys stay out and take the wave around. And it's getting closer and closer to being your time to get those wave rounds.
Gotta hope. It's kind of boring back here. No, we actually had a good run. That was a pretty fun run there. I caught up with, what was it? I was running on the back of Benjamin Eaton there, and we were making our way up through the field. I was actually having some fun racing with the top 10. But, you know, I'm 27th, so it doesn't look as cool.
Of course, Paul. Well, as this one continues to wear on, we're getting really close to the halfway point. Let me ask you, Paul, we've kind of seen everyone calm down a little bit after that very brutal start. Really, the last few cautions have been minor incidents that weren't really due to aggressive driving. Tell me, we're getting close to the halfway point. Do you think the gloves start to come off a little bit more here?
No, I think you got to wait till about lap 175 or so. We still got another pit stop. Nobody can make it on fuel, so I believe we got some riding. You might see a little fender bender kind of thing, but expect the gloves to come off after whenever the last pit stop is.
All right, well, thank you, Paul. That's Paul Coleman Jr., driver of the number 66, our in-car reporter this evening. We're going to take a 30-second timeout for station identification. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Telesign TV. Welcome back to Telesign TV. My name is Petey J. Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, as we are here with the Don't Mess with Texas 275, and we're going to try to get a word in with another driver here as we're looking up through the field, and we're going to try to key in Alex Gangler here after he had a tough break there on that last restart. And Alex Gangler, it's Petey up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Alex, take us through what happened. For the first time in your XCAL racing career, you restarted in first position in a feature event. Things were looking good, and then something happened to the car coming off turn 4 on that first lap. Take the viewers through what you saw from the cockpit.
So what I saw on my side, it's pretty easy to explain. I got put 3 wide, got up in the marbles where I didn't really want, where I wasn't really expecting to be. Never actually ran up there before. Turned the car a little too much for how little rubber there was and broke the car loose. Looked in my mirror, saw there was no one behind me, so I just kind of harmlessly spun it to the bottom and just got going, and I'm back up P5, so let's hope we don't do that again.
I was going to say, Gangler, you're back up in the top 5 now, so for you, how are you feeling about your shots in this race? I'm going to say, Gangler, I've seen you running up near the top 10 pretty much all day today. Looks like you have a good piece here tonight, so do you like your chances in this one?
My chances are fairly good of me getting top 10. I've been running there, like you said, the entire time. I don't know about a win yet. There's still quite a long way in this race, so we'll have to wait for the cards to play out and see how that goes.
All right, well, thank you, Alex, for taking a moment to join us. Hopefully we talk to you after the race. That was Alex Gangler in the number 82 machine, giving us a quick word about what happened to him and his little incident that went down. We're going to give you an updated running order. In first position right now is going to be Tyler Jalbert. Second, Noah Carpenter. Third will be Raphael Sempruch. Fourth, Danny Ware. Fifth, Alex Gangler. Sixth, Darren Snyder. Seventh, Matthew Bear. Eighth, Luke Turpin. Ninth, Tyler Batchelder. 10th, Johnny B. 11th, Heather Patrick. 12th, Derek Colson. 13th, John Schwartz. 14th, Octavio Rondoletto. 15th, Jose Godino, and 16th will be William Karp, as those are your cars on the lead lap. And actually, we're going to finally have a restart where things aren't goofy. The cars that are up at the front of the field will be the cars at the front of the field. And breaking news here, the 24 of Jeremy Leto has been disqualifying. Tough break there for Jeremy Leto, as he has been disqualified from this race. Terrible break there for the 24 team, as they were having a good run. He was only running one lap down, racing up near the top 10 for a lot of the race. A tough break there for the Leto car, as he's been disqualified from the race. So, unfortunate turn of events there for him and the Telesign TV machine. We will have to maybe get a word in with Jeremy in a little bit and see what happened there. I'm not sure what the disqualification reason was. Nonetheless, though, a terrible break there for him. Not at all what they wanted to see. So this time by for Tyler Jalbert, he's going to bring the car around turns 3 and 4. The pace car will be pulling off this time. It is Jalbert on the inside. On the outside, Noah Carpenter. Let's see how this restart goes. The iRacing Ford Mustang makes the hard left-hand turn. Here we go, and Texas Terry holds the green flag in the air. He's going to let it wave. They're down and away. It's Tyler Jalbert on the inside with a good jump. Carpenter on the high side did go, but just not as well as the 04, as you see Tim Skillman pull off behind them all. Here comes Raphael Sempruch now in third position. He drives right up on the bumper of the 04. And I'll tell you what, there has been no car that has spent more time near the front of the field in this race than that 74 of Raphael Sempruch. That 74 has been racy tonight. And I'd say he's probably been the driver of the race so far through the first half of this event. The unfortunate part is there's no trophy, there's no paycheck, there's no glory for being the driver of the first half of the race. It's all about being the driver of the second half of the race. And to be honest, it's not even about that. It's about being the driver of the last lap, especially these restrictor play races. We will see who that driver will be as we get closer and closer to the end of this one. As now on the outside lane, you have the Noah Carpenter machine cutting the nose off there of Alex Gangler to get in line. Gangler played nice there and let him slide down. First car on the outside lane is the 100 of Danny Ware. So Danny Ware runs up top there, and he has a little help from Octavio Rondoletto. I've been saying it all night, but Rondoleto's been running up on that high side for pretty much the entire event. As the car's getting tight in the corner is Noah Carpenter. And I'll tell you what, that Carpenter 42, he has a hard time keeping that car down on the line. He always slides up in the corners, and that really messes up the outside lane. I'm sure the guys have not been appreciating that this much. This time by, Texas Terry puts the crossbars in the air. Halfway down, halfway to go for Tyler Jalbert as he leads at the halfway point. And Jalbert continues to show the fast way around the racetrack. As it feels good to have a normal restart for once, the cars you're watching are all racing for position. As now Raphael Sempruch jumps to the high side, he leaves Jalbert out to dry, and now Danny Ware leaves Raphael Sempruch out to dry. So guys slicing and dicing, making things happen up here near the front of the field. It's going to be Ware, though, pulling in the line and helping out his good buddy Tyler Jalbert on the inside. Up top, Sempruch races all by himself. He has absolutely no help till you get back to Rondoletto in about 8th. So Sempruch is going to have to try to make it happen on his own. Fortunately for Sempruch, those two guys on the inside are pretty clean. We'll have to see if he can continue to race good with them and maybe get closer to them than he would other cars. We race back here in the back of the field. Luke Turpin makes a power move to the inside of Octavio Rondoletto. Rondoletto's going to cut the nose off and say, "Not today, Jose." Up top, it is Raphael Sempruch racing for that top spot with Tyler Jalbert. Jalbert is still manning that car around the raceway. Sempruch, though, really mounting a good charge on the high side. This time by at the start-finish line, it is a dead heat. I have no idea who led that lap. It was Raphael Sempruch by 10/1000ths of a second, and that might be how close it is on the last lap, to be honest with you. Sempruch was able to do that with no help whatsoever up there. As here we go, Pats is going on for about fifth, I think, excuse me, as Luke Turpin goes to the inside of Alex Gangler. Turpin's going to take that position away from him. For a young driver like Alex Gangler, there's a lot to be learned by driving behind a guy like Luke Turpin. Gangler can learn a lot from one of the best in the business just by following in his tire tracks and seeing what the 454 does, where he wants to go, what type of moves he makes at this point in the race. When you're a driver that's new to the game like this, kind of like Alex Gangler is, you can certainly learn a lot by learning from your mentors, and he has 3 cars around him right now who are 3 of the best in the business. Octavio Rondoletto in front of Luke Turpin is certainly one of the best in XCAL. Luke Turpin obviously is Luke Turpin, and right behind him, Darren Snyder's been sim racing since the early 90s. So worth taking some notes here for Alex Gangler as they continue to race side by side for the lead. Darren Snyder is starting to heed way to some of these guys. I think Snyder doesn't want to get too racy right now. He's going to let a couple of these cars go around him, as he did let Pedro Jose Luis Biones make his move around him. Biones is the first car 1 lap down. 17th through 21st currently run 1 lap down in this one. Our in-car reporter, Paul Coleman Jr. up to 23rd, I think due to a couple accidents. Paul's been able to pick up a few more spots, as that's as high as he's been running quite some time, as that car is getting closer and closer to possibly being into getting lap backs, possibly to get some cautions here. Tyler Jalbert on the inside, though, continues to show the fastball around the racetrack. Sempruch has absolutely no friends up top, but he has still been able to keep it tight there with the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. And I'll tell you what, I keep talking up the 74, but I can't do it enough. I knew that Raphael Sempruch was a good race car driver, and I knew he was a clean guy. However, I think I might have underestimated the skill of him a little bit until this week. In this race so far, the way he's manned that high side, the way he's used pitch strategy to his advantage, the way that he's kept that car clean and out of trouble so far, it has really shown me that, yeah, I believe that he's been racing since the late 80s on simulation events, and I believe this is what he's been looking for, because he has all the tools to be successful here in XCAL racing. And that 74 car on the high side of the racetrack, he has really been impressive so far in this one. I can't talk about him enough. A great job so far for Raphael Sempruch. He now races side by side with Jalbert, and the car does jump up to the outside. It's that 699 of Matthew Baer. Unfortunately, that car is really not close enough to help the 74 of Sempruch out much, so Sempruch just kind of has to bide his time and continue to hope that someone can get up there and give him help. He might be hoping that like Noah Carpenter or Octavio Rondoletto, one of those guys, jumps to the high side. And if someone else jumps up to the high side, we will be able to possibly see some racing. Now they're 3 wide. Matthew Baer is going to get shuffled out of the groove as it's 28 of Biones made it 3 wide there. Fortunate break there for those guys. And we're going to look back and see if maybe we're missing another pack. I want to make sure we keep an eye on all the action on the Speedway. As this lead pack, it looks like it's about, I'd say, we're about 20 cars in the lead pack right now, but they're very spread out. It's a very spread out lead pack, but 20 cars do run in that first pack. Then you got to go back to Paul Coleman Jr. in 23rd, who runs all by himself. And yeah, outside of that lead pack, you kind of just have a bunch of single cars making laps around the racetrack. No other pack is truly formed, so we'll have to see if another back pack starts to form, or if maybe this is go time for a lot of these guys. Update, William Karp has come down pit road, and that nose on that car is tore off. It's been a tough weekend for William Karp. He got taken out in all 4 of the heat races, and it looks like his night is done here in this feature event as that car is beat up. Unfortunate break there for William Karp. Up front, though, Raphael Sempruch on the high side. He is making the pass on Tyler Jalbert. He is getting as far as he has yet. He has a lot of help from that 28 of Biones. And off the corner this time, Sempruch gets a heck of a run off the corner. And that Biones car might be one of the best pushers in the business. I know we saw him actually accidentally turn his buddy of Octavio Rondoletto, but he has done a good job pushing cars on the high side as Raphael Sempruch almost clears Tyler Jalbert heading down into turn number 1. Wasn't quite there yet, but with the help from that 28 car, I think it's possible for the 74. He really has a good car pushing him from behind. Now here we go, another car jumps up to the outside. It is that 77 Telesign TV machine of Octavio Rondoletto. Rondoletto giving him some help here, as that's good to see as Rondoletto Certainly one of the faster cars in this race so far. He's making his move to the high side, and that high side has some quick cats up there now. Jailbird gets loose in the trial, though Sempruch is going to clear him. Sempruch is up to the top spot. He could come down if he would like to. Will he do it? Sempruch in the corner, and he's not clear anymore as he comes off the corner. He does not want to come down. He's going to continue to race in the high side, so Sempruch had the chance to come down. He chose not to. I think he's liking running up there right now. And it is worth saying, too, he's ran pretty much this entire race up on the high side of the Speedway. Here is an update for you, though. That wreck with William Carpet involved Kenny Tripp as well, too. Kenny Tripp still out in the Speedway, one lap down in 20th, but a lot of nose damage on that car. But what I was saying about up front is Sempruch ran the first half of this race on the low side as, oh my goodness, Pedro Bywans makes it tight there. Now he's racing on the high side. I think for him it's just about studying right now. I think Sempruch is trying to figure out all the different facets he needs to know about this race. And I'm telling you, if I had to make my pick right now as we're coming up on 100 laps to go, I would pick Rafael Sempruch to win this race. I have not seen anyone be more impressive so far in this event than that 74 red, green, and yellow German car. And the most impressive part about it all is he is German nationality, but he literally lives in Germany. He is racing out of Germany right now, and he is like 4 or 5 in the morning right now for the 74 car. Honestly, it's probably getting closer to 6 a.m. for him, and he's out here racing, not just racing, out there half asleep, running in the middle of the pack. He is racing at 150 miles an hour, inches apart from 20 other cars, battling for the win right now. Unbelievable focus out of Rafael Sempruch. I'm sure has to be kind of tired at this point in the night for him. He does a good job, though, side drafting on the high side of that 04 of Tyler Jailbird. And Jailbird, too, a great job for him. He won his heat race, unfortunately received a penalty, had to start the race in 31st, so a terrible break there for him. Still, he drove his way through the field, told us in his interview he's going to be aggressive, he wanted to take the top spot, and here he is running in the top spot with one of his team-affiliated cars, the 100 of Danny Ware, giving him a lot of help right now. So, a lot of great stories in the front of this pack. All the guys you see are racing for position outside of the 28 of Pedro Jose Luis Bywans. Bywans is 1 lap down in that 28 machine. If caution were to fly, he would be the first guy to get his lap back. As they get awfully close this time off the corner. Here we go. Bywans looking to make it 3 wide. He does not have the nose in. Sempruch tries to close the door. It's too late. Bywans is in there. So they are 3 wide now as Bywans shoots the gap. And now Sempruch goes up the racetrack. This time by 100 laps left to go. 100 laps left. And Sempruch gets put in the outside wall. They wreck. Sempruch with hard contact with the outside wall. They all wreck now. Caution's out on the Speedway. And oh my goodness, what a dirty shame there for Rafael Sempruch, who had one of the best cars up to this point in the race. He's not too damaged, to be honest with you. I think that car is going to be okay. We're going to have to see what happened there, though, to bring out that caution, as it was just 3 wide. You didn't need to be 3 wide with the lap car. I don't know what Bywans was thinking there, as he made it 3 wide with the leaders. If you want to gain respect of these guys, you can't be doing stuff like that. So we will see what happened here in just one moment, my friend. And here's the replay. They're racing 3 wide into turn number 1. And looks like the 04 of Tyler Jailbird just got tight, door slammed the 28, and then the 28 put the 74 into the wall. So the 28 spun down the Speedway. He got an Alex Gangler. Gangler got big contact. Also collected Matthew Bear. Looks like the 13 of Darren Snyder got a piece. Greg Holes, Johnny B, Trevor Birchmere. Lots of cars getting a piece of that one. Tough break for a lot of these guys. Looks like Darren Snyder will be okay after that one, though. Not too much damage there on the number 17 machine, or 13 machine, excuse me. I think he will be okay. So as per usual, we are going to key up our in-car reporter of Paul Coleman Jr. Paul, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
Well, Paul, here we go. We're late in the going of this one. Looks like the 06-12 will get back on the lead lap. Trevor Birchmere is going to get back to 1 lap down. And what that means for you, Paul, is that you just need 2 more cautions to start getting your lap backs here. So tell me, 100 laps to go. Do you now, looking at the way things look right now, I know I keep asking you this, but it keeps changing every time we talk. How are you feeling this time?
I'm moving up spots. If these guys keep wrecking, we can get ourselves a free top 20. Things were going, pretty well for a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out how. Sorry, it's telling me to let some car by, but I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, things are going good. We just need a couple more wrecks, as you said, so I can get some positions.
All right, well, Paul, it looks like a lot of the racing at the front of the pack is starting to get a little bit more aggressive up here as this race continues to go on. So actually, two questions. The first question is, Paul, the fuel window. You're my guy for fuel strategy in this race. How does the fuel window look right now for you and your team? Do you guys think that you're going to be able to make it if you pit right now?
I'm trying to figure out who's ahead of me because I think I might actually get a wave around. So no, I won't be able to make it. Yeah, there's nobody on the lead lap in front of me, so I am going to get a free wave around.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to get a wave around here, Paul. So now you find yourself 2 laps down and 2 more cautions, Paul. I think that's certainly possible.
Absolutely. No, I'll say that. I'm feeling good right now. Just as long as they know they'll let me go by.
My apologies. I had my microphone muted 3 different times there when I thought it wasn't muted. That was Paul Coleman Jr., driver of the number 38 K2 Motorsports machine. He was our in-car reporter. We're going to talk to one of these drivers in just a moment, but we're going to take a 30-second timeout for station identification. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to XCAL Racing on Telesign TV. Welcome back here to Telesign TV. My name's PDJ Zeller, and we get ready to get things back underway here from the Texas Motor Speedway. And I said I was going to try to talk to one of these drivers here in a moment. Unfortunately, we're about to go back green. We're a lap and a half away. I don't want to interrupt any important team communications these guys are having on their radio, so I'm just going to wait till the next caution to try to talk to one of these drivers. But here's an updated running order for you, my friend. Currently running in first position is the 100 of Danny Ware. In second, in the number 77, is Octavio Rondoletto. Third is going to be Luke Turpin in the 454. Fourth will be Darren Snyder, who's kind of been a staple on the top 5 of this race. He hasn't really challenged for the lead much tonight, but he has been running right up near that top 5 pretty much since the green flag waved after starting 29th. Fifth will be Tyler Batchelder in the number 53. Sixth will be Derek Colson in the number 5. Seventh will be the 01 of John Schwartz. Eighth will be the number 42 of Noah Carpenter. Actually, that changed a little bit. It looks like one of the cars dropped back. So fifth is now going to be Colson. Sixth will be Schwartz. Seventh will be Carpenter. Eighth will be Sean Patrick in the 17. Ninth will be Kenny Tripp in the number 12. And 10th will be the 53 of Tyler Batchelder. 11th is Tyler Jalbert. 12th is Tyler McRae. 13th is Cody Jones. And 14th is Matthew Baer. Those are all the cars in the lead lap. Then we get back here to the cars 1 lap down. There's 3 of them. Rafael Sempruch, Trevor Birchmere, and Alex Gangler. Then there's 3 cars 2 laps down, Johnny B, Jose Godino, and Paul Coleman Jr. And those are our current running orders, as all the other cars. There are still a few cars on the racetrack that are more laps down than that, but pretty much all those guys you would have to consider out of contention at this point. If you're not within 2 laps at this stage, I would say it's going to be pretty hard to overcome. Maybe 4 laps down, Greg Holtz, if things get stupid here at the end, he would have a chance, but highly unlikely. So here we come this time by through turns 3 and 4. The iRacing Ford Mustang is going to make that hard left-hand turn off the banking, leaving the field at the mercy of the 100 car of Danny Ware. Texas Terry Labonte holds the green flag in his hand, and he's going to let him rip. Green flag in the air, we're down and away, and it's Danny Ware on that inside lane, getting the advantage right now over Octavio Rondoletto. The outside lane didn't go that well. The 13 car of Darren Snyder might have missed a shift. That car is going to run up high right there. Here come the leaders around the lap car of Alex Gangler. Looks like they're going to put Gangler a second lap down, so a promising run for Gangler. It's going south quickly here in this race. So that's actually good news for our in-car reporter of Paul Coleman Jr. because if he can make it back around the 82 of Gangler, who's going to be 2 laps down, he would get another lap back. That would be a transfer spot for him. As Gangler is actually running on the apron right now, looks like that 82 car has an issue. So an 82 car might be coming back into the pits to get more damage repaired. A tough break there for Gangler, who was having a really promising run early in this race. That car looks like it's just under power now. So for our in-car reporter of Paul Coleman Jr., things continue to get better here. As we go 3 wide towards the front of the field, Darren Snyder in the middle. On the outside, John Schwartz. On the low side, it's Derek Colson. And everyone's going to survive that one as Snyder's able to slide in the line. So they're all single file up front. First place is Danny Ware. Second place it's Luke Turpin. As Turpin actually just dragged the brakes a little bit down there the backstretch. What that did is it allowed Ware to get about a 0.5 of a second lead. I think Turpin might just be experimenting with things from the end of the race here, as he wants to see how much of a run he can really get on that 100 car of Danny Ware. We'll have to see this time if he gets a big run on that number 100 car. I'm sure he's going to with all the drafting help he has. Danny Ware continuing to open up a big lead here. Ware is out in front now by about 0.6 of a second, and Turpin's dragging the brake again. Turpin's trying to just stack up that second pack right now, and now they're going to go to the high side to try to go around him, and Turpin's going to let it open up again. Luke Turpin there making things a little exciting, trying to let Danny Ware get a huge lead. I think Turpin just is trying to experiment here and see what he can do. So this time off the corner, it looks like Turpin will not drag the brake that time. What he did do, though, is he allowed Danny Ware to get a huge lead. Danny Ware has about, he has a second lead over the rest of the field. So when the field comes at Danny Ware, they're going to be coming at him aggressively. And we'll have to see what Luke Turpin has in mind here for this move because he planned this oh so perfectly. Let's see what he's going to pull off. Turpin comes off the corner. Turpin now with a lot of help from Octavio Rondoletto. It's probably be 2 or 3 laps before they get back to Danny Ware. When they get to him, they're going to have a heck of a run, so we'll see what they can do. That 454 car, all the help in the world from the 77. It's cool to see these two guys work together because Turpin and Rondoletto, I think, are pretty much unanimously agreed right now as the 2 best drivers in XCAL racing. They have just been running so good lately. They've been winning pretty much, one of those 2 wins pretty much every week. Even when we go to the super speedways and it's more of a crapshoot and more guys are involved, it still seems like one of those 2 cars always comes out on top somehow. And here they come now, getting a big run on Danny Ware. Danny Ware might be the 3rd best driver, to be honest with you, if that was going to be a conversation about the best 3 drivers in XCAL. Here they are, 1, 2, 3 right now. Turpin runs right on the bumper of that 100 car of Ware. Ware gives him a little bit of a brake tap there, so Ware playing his own mind games right now. And I'll tell you what, the rest of the field is playing checkers. The top 3 are playing chess right now. These guys playing all sorts of silly games with each other, and what it has is a 3-car breakaway from the rest of the field. I don't know how they pulled that off, but they did. Darren Snyder races for 4th with Noah Carpenter. Snyder on the inside of that number 13 machine. Doing a good job of keeping that car out near the front of the field for most of this race. A good run for that 13 team is now, Luke Turpin drags the brakes a little bit again, and I think he wants to try to get another big run of the 100 of Danny Ware, so Luke Turpin playing the Luke Turpin games right now as he checks up the whole field, and now Turpin is going to have a big gap between him and Danny Ware. Let's see what he can do. If he's not careful, he's going to hurt himself here as everyone's going to catch him. And let's see if they try to make some evasive moves on him. They will not. So Turpin just slides in the line as Ware continues to sustain a pretty big lead. 14 cars run on the lead lap right now. We still have about 25 running on the Speedway as there's a lot of guys still out there logging laps. Well, maybe more than that. We might have about 26 or 27. It is Danny Ware leading, though. And here we go. Battle for second, side by side. On the outside, it is going to be Noah Carpenter with a lot of help from the number 53 of Tyler Batchelder. Batchelder gets up there and gives him all the help he can. As Batchelder, that team, mainly Asphalt, they're one of the very few teams with all 3 of their cars left in this race on the lead lap. Kenny Tripp and Tyler Jalbert also still on the lead lap in this one. As here come the leaders around the lap car. I think that's Bruce Helmuth in the 25. So they're going to put Bruce Helmuth a lap down. Keeping an eye on the battle for the lead, here comes Luke Turpin to the high side. Turpin has help from Noah Carpenter. Carpenter gets up behind him, gives him a shove. Oh my goodness, Derek Colson got up a little bit with the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. Jalbert's going to slide back in the line now in front of a couple dropping bombs cars, and he'll be good for the going. As up front, it is Turpin now really challenging that 100 of Ware. He has a lot of help from the 42 of Noah Carpenter. And we talked about it in the heat races yesterday. Noah Carpenter, he might be one of the best pushers in XCAL racing. I talk about how aggressive he is. That aggression actually plays to his benefit when it comes to pushing cars. He really does a fine job of pushing the guys to the top, side of the racetrack. And some people hate it and some people love it, but you can't argue the fact that the 42 car is not afraid to give you a shove into the corner. And if you're a guy like Luke Turpin, you might like it. If you're one of the guys who likes to race a little more conservatively, it might scare the living heck out of you. As we go now, though, and you got to wonder, too, is, oh, here we go, a guy making a daring move to the inside of Darren Snyder's Tyler Jalbert. Nothing doing there, though, for Jalbert that time as we continue to click away laps. Some of these guys that have been running near the back of the lead lap this whole race. Let's comment real quick on John Schwartz and Cody Jones. Those two are running in their own little pack right now with Kenny Tripp. And those two guys have kind of this whole race been on the lead lap, but just running at the back of the lead lap. I think those two guys might just be trying to avoid the wrecks. And when we get down to the end here, don't be surprised if the 01 and 06 start to make a charge to the front, because they've just kind of been hanging out this whole race. It's getting closer to go time now, though, as here we go. Luke Turpin jumps to the high side of Danny Ware. Turpin not that time by at the stripe by the shortest of margins, 7/1000ths of a second. Here comes Ware now to the inside. Danny Ware side drafts a little bit with Luke Turpin. Turpin gets a good run on that high side. We'll see what Turpin can do as they come down the backstretch. He has no help right now as 5 cars run in the lead pack. They are running oh so tight right now as Batchelder is all over the rear bumper of Danny Ware. Ware on that inside lane doing a good job getting a push from Tyler Batchelder. And Ware gets very close with the 454 of Luke Turpin. Turpin, though, on the high side, all by himself, making things happen right now. So here we go, another car jumping to the high side. Tyler Jalbert goes to the outside of Darren Snyder. That outside lane just trying to get things going. Good run right now for Derek Colson running up in 8th right now. That 5 team, he's needed a good run. He's had a rough couple weeks. That 5 team, though, knocking on wood for him, because I don't want to jinx him like I did at Irwindale a few weeks ago when he was having a good run. That 5 team running up near the front, and we'll see if he can sustain this run and maybe bring home a nice top 10 finish. Colson now goes to the high side of the number 13 of Darren Snyder. Colson trying to join that outside lane with Tyler Jalbert and Luke Turpin. Not a bad place to be honest with you. The 454 and 04 car racing for the win kind of all evening long in this race. And Colson might learn a few things from following these guys around. We'll have to see what he can do. As Colson looks like he's going to lose the draft a little bit there, though. He's just going to drop back in the line now in front of 2 dropping bombs cars. I don't believe those dropping bombs cars are on the lead lap. One of them is Heather Patrick is on the lead lap, and Johnny B is a lap down. So that's how the running's going right now. As a good racing going on all around the racetrack right now. None better than this battle for the lead, though, as Luke Turpin continues to man the high side. Danny Ware made it wide in that corner. No, Tyler Batchelder gets a little sideways. That's what Luke Turpin wanted. That helps him get a little bit of a gap there on the outside, and he's going to make his move. He has help on the way. Here comes Tyler Jalbert in that 04 machine. The 04 car is side drafted his way all the way to the front of this field. He has made his way from back about in 8th to now battling for the 4th spot with Noah Carpenter. He goes on the high side. He was trying to take that position away from Carpenter. And Turpin gets a little bit of contact there with the 53. Turpin goes way up the speedway. Jalbert's going to go up the middle. And now Turpin's just going to fall out of line. Turpin's just going to fall to the back. I think he was having some sort of an issue there. And the 454 car, a little bit of an overheating issue. He's going to lay off the throttle a little bit. Let that car drop back to the end of the pack and hopefully get the overheating issue fixed before he mounts another charge. Here comes Tyler Batchelder to the outside. He saw his teammate Tyler Jalbert and decided it was time to go. So we have the 2 mainly asphalt cars on the high side of the speedway trying to make moves happen. 53 car goes way up high. He's going to let Jalbert almost get to his inside. Jalbert checks up and lets him slide back down. Not sure what that was all about there, as door contact is made between the 42 and 04. That 42 car, before we get here for 2021, that 42 car is going to need to take some lessons on holding that car to the inside lane, as he has slid up the racetrack and doored guys a lot tonight. And I'll tell you what, they'll let it go for a little while. If he keeps doing that, there are going to be many, many drivers outside of this hall or outside of this race not very happy. Here we go. Tyler Jalbert pulls in the line. He is going to pull in the line and leave his teammate out to hang. Tyler Batchelder left alone on that high side now. Jalbert rides in behind Noah Carpenter. What I like about Tyler Jalbert, I always think he's a very good driver. There's a lot of people that are 50-50 on him. Some people think he is a very good, talented driver, which I do see a lot of natural talent with him. There's some people that just think he's too aggressive and gets over his head too often. What I like about Tyler Jalbert, though, is you can never deny that that 04 car is trying to win the race. He is always trying to make his run to the front of the field. And that 04 car, you typically either find him coming home with a steering wheel or a shot at victory lane. And I know that type of racing isn't really sustainable in real life, but here on the simulation, why not? I like the way Tyler Jalbert races, and he's going to win one of these races one of these days. Maybe it'll be today as he finds himself running third as the lead pack has gotten all single file. It looks like we might have had some sort of an issue near the rear of the field. I'm not sure. I heard some reports. Looks like nothing that I can really see has happened, so everyone's still facing the right way. Still 14 cars on the lead lap. Yeah, it looks like nothing's changed. Not sure what happened there. Keep an eye on our in-car reporter, Paul Coleman Jr., though. He runs all by himself at 18th right now. He is the 4th car 1 lap down, so if caution were to fly, he wouldn't get his lap back. Unfortunately for him, Alex Gangler has gotten speed back in his car. And Gangler is currently 1 position ahead of him, about half a racetrack in front of him, so that's tough for Paul. Here we go, it's getting side by side up front again. Noah Carpenter has jumped to the outside. Carpenter now races to the high side. Danny Ware as Tyler Jalbert goes in the grass. Carpenter mounts a charge to the outside. And I'm not sure how fuel mileage is going to play into this thing. I don't know if these guys are good to go to the end or not, so I'm just not going to really comment on it, and we're going to see if these guys come down pit road if this does go green to the end, which is a big if. That's probably unlikely, but you never know. As here we go to the outside, it's going to be the 42 of Noah Carpenter, and now Tyler Jalbert's going to join him. Jalbert jumps up to the high side as Carpenter challenges for the top spot. Carpenter side drafts with Danny Ware as they go around the corner, and now it's going to be Jalbert driving back in the line behind the 04. He's going to try to help the 100 car out. Jalbert now gets right up on the bumper of Danny Ware. That time by the stripe, it was Danny Ware by the closest margins, 12 1,000ths of a second. And it looks like Tyler Jalbert right now, I said he wants to get going. He's kind of an aggressive guy. He does want to get going. He is just trying to see which one of these lanes is going to go, which one of these lanes is going to be the place to be, as that is so tight off the corner. Noah Carpenter pinches those cars down on the low line. They almost touch doors. Here they go off into turn number 3, and Jalbert almost slides up into the 42 car. He will not, though. 42 car gets into Danny Ware, and the 42 car wrecks. They both wreck. They both keep them going the right way, though. No caution will fly. Tyler Jalbert inherits the lead. The 100 of Danny Ware, I think, is going to be okay. The 42 of Noah Carpenter is shot. That car is completely destroyed the front end going into the wall. And I kind of saw that one coming. They were just racing too close. Here we go. Danny Ware is caught right back up to the bumper of the 42. Let's see if he gets retaliation here. He gives him a big shove into the corner. Let's see if Danny Ware is going to retaliate further than that. Here we go down the backstretch. Danny Ware gives him another shove. And Danny Ware is a respectful guy, so he's not going to just wreck him blatantly. He goes around him. That 42 car, I think Danny Ware is okay. I think Danny Ware will still be able to compete. The 42 car, though, that nose is beat off that car. He is just pretty much shot at this point. So tough break there for Carpenter. As we go back up front, it is going to be Tyler Jalbert out in front with help from Octavio Rondoletto. Up to third now is Darren Snyder. Fourth is going to be Derek Coulson, and fifth will be Tyler Batchelders. Things are all strung out around the field now. Up to 10th place is going to be John Schwartz. First time I've said his name in the top 10 today. That number 42 of Noah Carpenter, though, he is way off the pace right now. That's probably the end of the night for the Carpenter team, as that car is very slow right now. A big pack of cars are coming up around him to probably go around him. And if Carpenter doesn't get a caution soon, this is just going to go from bad to worse for that team. So as we go back up front, the lead pack is starting to form a little bit. And this is a good lead pack here. Tyler Jalbert, Octavio Rondoletto, Darren Snyder, Derek Coulson, and Tyler Batchelder. 5 really respectful guys in the XCAL Racing League. 5 guys that you know are going to give each other enough room, but certainly race hard for it. So here we go on the high side. It's the 77 of Rondoletto going for the top spot. And he's going to clear Tyler Jalbert. What a nice move there by Octavio Rondoletto as he was able to clear the 04 of Tyler Jalbert all on his own. What a move, a nice move there as he is going to get in the line. The first car in the second pack is Luke Turpin in the 454. He is followed closely behind by Sean Patrick, Kenny Tripp, Tyler McRae, and John Schwartz. That's your second pack. They're about 2.5 seconds behind the lead pack. Up front, though, it's the 04 and 77 dueling for this top spot right now. And I mean absolutely dueling. They're beating and banging, rubbing doors. Don't tell them there's like 70 laps to go. They wouldn't believe you. As continuing to update you on the Noah Carpenter situation, that car is getting slower and slower by the lap on the racetrack right now. And he is back down to 13th out of 14 cars on the lead lap. And he is just not up to speed whatsoever right now. That car is down multiple cylinders after pegging the outside wall. Update on Danny Ware. That car does appear to be up to speed. I'm not positive. He might be slightly off the pace, but not to the level of Noah Carpenter. That Carpenter car is done for. He is probably not going to be competitive for the rest of this one. Up front, though, not a whole lot's changed. We do have a good battle going on for about third right now. Derek Colson's all over the bumper of Darren Snyder right now. Snyder having a good run in that third position is that 13 car. He's been involved in a couple wrecks. You see it's not perfect, but he's done a good job of getting the damage fixed and just kind of hanging on to it, keeping that car near the front of the field. Snyder is racing side by side now with Tyler Batchelder. Batchelder on the outside of him. They go side by side for the third position. No help for Batchelder, though, as Colson in the 5 cars giving all the help right now to the 13 Snyder. And Batchelder will not hesitate to fight, though, as up front things are single file between Rondoletto and Jalbert. It seems as though Jalbert's just content to kind of push our leader right now, as the second pack just can't seem to get single file right now. The 12 of Kenny Tripp just kind of running that high side, does not want to help that pack catch the leaders, as the leaders are running faster laps each and every time than the second pack right now. And I think Luke Turpin's starting to grow a little frustrated with it. He's let his displeasure be known over the radio, and race control did warn him to not be saying those type of things over the radio that the public can hear. Here we go, Rondoletto gets a little loose from the top spot. Nice run for Rondoletto. Don't forget, that 77 car was involved in a wreck earlier in this race. You see quite a bit of nose damage on the 77 machine, and he really has done a fine job recovering from that. One thing I will say about Octavio Rondoletto is whenever this kid gets out front in a restrictor plate race, it's very hard to get around him. I say that every time. At Charlotte, he led his heat race wire to wire. In this event here for the heat races, he won heat race number 3. He led that heat race wire to wire. At the Charlotte race, at the charity event, he led that race pretty much wire to wire. He was out in front of the whole event. When that 77 car gets the lead and has the inside lane, it's very, very, very rare when someone's actually able to get around them as they make their way into some lap traffic. And I'm telling you right now, with Rondoletto leading this race with under 100 to go, he is sitting exactly where he wants to be. However, that 04 of Tyler Jalbert, I promise you this much, he is not going to make life easy on the 77. It's the 77, gives up a little wiggle there. Here comes Jalbert to the inside. Jalbert has the nose, and Rondoletto has to go up the racetrack. Jalbert to the inside, forced to move there, made his nose to the inside, and now Rondoletto gets forced out of the lane. I'll tell you what, I just made that comment about how it's really hard to get around Rondoletto. Tyler Jalbert might be his kryptonite, because Tyler Jalbert, as they go 3 wide for the top spot, this could get hairy. Darren Snyder down on the low side, Rondoletto in the middle, Batchelder way up top. They continue to race 3 wide through the corner, and it's going to be Batchelder on the loose end of that. He's going to end up sliding back in the line. Now Rondoletto runs the high side. Part of the reason no one can get around Octavio Rondoletto is because he's such an aggressive blocker when he's in the lead. He just knows where to put his blocks, and he really knows how to keep those cars from getting a nose underneath them. Jalbert is very good at aggressively forcing his nose underneath him. Jalbert just knows how to make that type of move happen, and he just knows how to kind of force his nose where there's really not a place for it. So the kryptonite to Octavio Rondoletto might be that 04 of Tyler Jalbert. We'll have to see as this one continues to wear on, as we click away laps, more and more laps clicking away as we get late into this one. As here we go, the 04 of Jalbert now is going to clear the 77 of Rondoletto. We have 5 cars racing in this lead pack, 5 cars dueling for the win in the Everything Better in Texas 225. We are really getting down to the closing stages of this one. And for a lot of these guys, it's worth noting too that 4 out of those 5 cars in the lead pack have never won an XCAL race. The one car that has is Octavio Rondoletto, and he's won his fair share. Rondoletto's won quite a few races. But those other 4 cars, they have never won an XCAL race. And I can tell you this much, it's pretty prestigious winning one of these things. They are all so hungry right now. They all want to find their way into victory lane, as that 04 of Tyler Jalbert continues to show the fast way around the speedway. That 04 car doing a good job manning the low line. Darren Snyder runs right behind him in the 13 car. A great run for Snyder in his return to XCAL racing. He took a little bit of a hiatus from XCAL, but he's back now. And that 13 car, running up in the top 3, has been near the top 5 the whole race. What a return for Snyder in the 13 team. Great to see him back. Hopefully in the weeks coming forward, we can see his teammates Mark Royce and Eric Burdoff return as well. So Rondoletto continues to man that high side. And he has just not really been able to mount much up there. Oh, Tyler Jalbert gets really weird off the corner. He's going to go up and throw a block on the 77. That was like the first time I've seen anyone throw a block that aggressive this race. Maybe we're just getting down to that stage in the race where it's time to be throwing blocks like that. However, Rondoletto's going to get way out of the groove. He gets up in the marbles. That's going to cost him dearly. Darren Snyder will now move up into second, and Tyler Batchelder will look to the outside of Snyder. So here comes Batchelder on the high side. Snyder does have a little bit of fender damage, so that car is it's good when it's in line. However, if he tried to step out in the line and challenge for the lead, I don't know if he'd be able to with the nose damage that car has. We'll have to see. I mean, I'm sure at the end of this thing, he's going to give it his best shot. He's not just going to ride in line. Batchelder now on the high side, though, does make his move for second, so Batchelder's up to second. He is clear if he wanted to come down behind his teammate, and he will. He will not, actually. He's going to challenge for the lead. He's going for Jalbert right now. He rides in that high side. He sees the hole now, though, and he slides in the line. Tyler Batchelder slides into second now. The first car on the outside lane is Derek Colson. Colson, the only car on the outside lane, he goes to the outside of Darren Snyder. Here comes Colson. He side drafts a little bit with Snyder in the corner. Colson runs that high side. Derek Colson on the high side trying to take third position away from Snyder as they come up on the lap car of Noah Carpenter. Carpenter looks like he's going to get out of the way. I think they're going to get this all sorted out. Carpenter's right in the way of Colson. Not a great move there. And Colson is going to get contact with Carpenter. I don't know what Carpenter was doing there. Colson and Carpenter spin. Caution will fly. And Derek Colson just wrong place, wrong time. He got the car going, though, no damage. And believe it or not, he didn't even lose any positions. So for Derek Colson, it will be minimal damage as he didn't really hit the wall all that hard. Carpenter just kind of pinched him. I don't know what Carpenter was thinking there. This has not been a good showing for the 42 team of Carpenter. You see the replay live, and Noah Carpenter, they were going around to lap him. He was just pinching those two cars. He didn't give him a lane, and you have to give him a lane in that quad oval. The 42 car. This will be a race that I'm sure he'd like to forget. So Colson will sustain his fourth place position right now. And this is where we find out. If everyone can make it on gas, you won't see him come down pit road. If you do, Derek Colson got black flag for that one. That is stunning to me. I cannot believe that Derek Colson received the black flag there. That is, wow. Never mind that, though. We will see if these guys are good to go on gas at this point in the race. So here they come back up behind the pace car. And we will see if the leaders have to come down pit road. What better time than now, though, to call our in-car reporter, Paul Coleman Jr. Paul Coleman Jr., it's Petey up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Petey?
I'm starting to run out of breath a little bit, Paul. Certainly getting a little tired, but the racing is getting down to the end here. We're closing in on the final 50 laps. Earlier you told me that was go time. So for the 38 team of Paul Coleman Jr., is it go time now? Is it when we start to see you making some moves up toward the front of the field?
Not for me, because I'm still laps down, but I expect the rest of the... if I was on the lead lap, I'd definitely be trying to, but I'm just in pray mode. Hopefully I got to get some more cautions, and hopefully I'm not that caution. But that 42 saw in my rearview mirror there that Derek Colson wrecked, and he nearly... yeah, me too. I don't know if he's racing with a controller or what the deal is, but... that was pretty dicey trying to get around him.
Certainly was. All right. Well, thank you, Paul, for your quick word. That was Paul Coleman Jr., driver of number 38. We're going to take a 30-second timeout for station identification. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Coffee came out at a good time.
Welcome back here to Telesign TV. This is Petey Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, as we get ready to get things back underway here and looking to see who pitted and who didn't. It looked like pretty much the entire field did come down pit road. So everyone came down, is getting their pit work done, and we will see where the field cycles out when this is all said and done. Not sure who's going to be in what position. That's kind of up for the grabs. We'll see next time by the flag stand. We're going to try to get a quick word in with a few guys here, though, as Noah Carpenter has retired from the race after that accident. Tough break there for Carpenter. Derek Colson has served his penalty. He will still be on the lead lap, it looks like, so really no worse for wear there as Derek Colson after a tough break there for him. I'm sure that team is very frustrated with that call there after a great run for him. Kind of goes a little bit sour. We are going to wait a moment here and wait for some of these cars to get off pit road, though, to gain some words with them. And actually, looking up at the front of the field, it looks like when things cycle out, it is going to be, I believe I think it's going to be Darren Snyder in the lead with about 50 laps to go in this race. So let's see if we can catch him for a quick word. And, all right, Darren Snyder, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, man?
10-4, PD.
Well, Darren, you've been running up near the top 3 for pretty much the whole race. Besides a couple bumps in the road, a pretty clean run for the 13 team. You're going to find yourself in the lead here now with just about 50 to go. You're all good to go on gas. So tell me, Darren, what's the key to getting that 13 car into victory lane?
A lot of luck, PD. I'll be lucky to get this. The competition's tough. Sorry, I almost passed the pace car talking to you. But yeah, the competitors are tough, so it'll be difficult.
Now, Darren, certainly a lot of laps in this race already, 170 laps in the books. You've been racing with a lot of these guys all day. Tell me, do you feel like you've learned something from racing with these guys all day long that might help you at the end of this one?
Yeah, 10-4. I definitely learned something.
All right, Darren. Well, we'll let you catch back up with your team and not distract you too much. You got a lot of racing here to do at the end. That's Darren Snyder, driver of the number 13 Asphalt Motorsports machine. So we catch a quick word with him. He's going to be in the lead. Here's your updated running order. In first place will be Darren Snyder. Second place will be Luke Turpin. Third will be Tyler Jalbert. Fourth, Octavio Rondoletto. Fifth, Matthew Baer. Sixth, Kenny Tripp. Seventh, John Schwartz. Eighth will be Tyler Batchelder. Ninth will be Trevor Birchmere. 10th will be Tyler McRae, 11th is going to be Derek Colson, 12th will be Cody Jones, 13th Heather Patrick, 14th Danny Ware, and those are all of your cars in the lead lap. And now would you look at that, our in-car reporter Paul Coleman Jr. is the first car one lap down. He is only one lap down as Paul, one caution away from getting right back into this thing. And you cannot count out the Coleman team. He is not out of the running yet. We'll have to see what happens here at the end of this one. As race control looks like they have delayed the caution one more time. And looks like Coleman, so now one lap down. Alex Gangler's 2 laps down. Rafael Sempruch, I hate that. He is 2 laps down. He was my pick to win around the halfway point in this race. An incredible run for Sempruch. Unfortunately for him, it looks like that this race might just turn into a good learning experience, but unless he gets some lucky breaks here, I don't think that 74 car is going to get to visit victory lane today. So we get ready to get this thing restarted. About a lap and a half away from going back green. This gives me a chance to mention, check out the www.XCAL Racing web shop. Go over there, go to www.xcalracing.com, click on the web shop link. And whenever you go there, you'll see all sorts of cool little trinkets. You can get an XCAL button for about $5 to show your support for XCAL Racing. If you really want to get something cool, you can get a t-shirt. They have those $30 t-shirts there. That's almost like that Nike Flex Fit material. It fits really nice to your body. It's a really good product. If you haven't already, check out the XCAL web shop. All sorts of great merchandise there to show your care for XCAL Racing. So we will have to keep our eyes on... We'll have to send you guys that way. Sorry, I got distracted again there a little bit. You'd be surprised how many things are going on in my ears and on my screen in front of me as I'm commentating this race right here. Up front, though, we are getting ready to go back green. We are 1 lap away from getting this thing restarted. It is Darren Snyder on the inside. And Luke Turpin, we've mentioned his name a lot tonight. However, he really hasn't been up near the front in this race a whole lot. Let's see what the 454 can do as he is on the high side of that number 13 machine. Here they come down the backstretch. Turpin has a lot of help from Rondoletto behind. That's a nice outside lane, and John Schwartz is the 3rd car on that outside lane. I like the outside lane on this restart. We will have to see what they can do. Here they come down in turns number 3 and 4. When they get the green flag, there will be 53 laps to go. It's 53 laps in competition left in this one, and it is coming down right to the wire here in the Don't Mess with Texas 225 from the Texas Motor Speedway. They come off turn number 4. The iRacing Ford Mustang makes that hard left-hand turn. Field is at the mercy of Darren Snyder as they come down towards the flag stand. Texas Terry Labonte waves the green flag. They're down and away, and Darren Snyder with a nice jump on the inside, but it's the 454 of Luke Turpin up top. He got a good jump, and he has help from Octavio Rondoletto. They head down into turns number 1 and 2, and Turpin is going to clear the 13 of Snyder. He tries to come down across his nose, and Snyder will let him. Snyder slides into 3rd, Turpin slides into the lead. Top spot goes to Luke Turpin now, as here we go. It's the 13 car of Darren Snyder riding right on the bumper of the 454 in the outside lane, already beginning the form. Here's the 77 up top. Now the 04 of Tyler Jalbert jumps to the outside. They're going to try to go around Darren Snyder for second as Snyder continues to race for that second spot with the 77 of Rondoletto. Rondoletto now is trying to make his run at Luke Turpin. And as we get closer to 2021, I'm telling you, get ready for a lot of these battles between Luke Turpin and the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. These two are two of the best in the business, and they just have a nose for keeping their cars near the front of the field in these races. I promise you that short tracks, road courses, super speedways, no matter where we go, those two cars are going to be a factor in the race. And actually, road courses, it's even more so than usual. Those two cars, last time we went to a road course, were the two fastest cars on the track by a large margin. There was no one else that was really that close to them. So we will see if that translates into the 2021 season. As they continue to click away laps, though, it is Rondoletto with no help on the high side right now, racing with Darren Snyder for second. Snyder doing a good job on the inside, just keeping that car pinned to the white line, trying to keep that 77 car up on his outside. 04 of Tyler Jalbert, giving a lot of help right now to the 13 of Snyder. Snyder rips the car off the corner, and he's going to get right back up to the bumper of Luke Turpin as that 77 car mounts his charge, though. Here comes Rondoletto on the high side. Rondoletto looking to have a heavyweight battle for the victory here with Luke Turpin. Turpin won last week at USA. The week before that, it was Octavio Rondoletto at Charlotte. Week before that was Octavio Rondoletto at Irwindale, and the week before that it was Luke Turpin. These guys exchange wins like heavyweights exchange blows. As we're up front right now, though, 50 laps left in the books. We're down to the final 50 laps of the Don't Mess with Texas 225, and we still have 14 cars on the lead lap in the running for this win. 14 cars competing in this one, and Derek Colson, worth noting too, he was involved in that caution, got penalized. He's back up to 7th now. The Colson car is not giving up yet. He's still running up there in the top 7, right behind John Schwartz. First time in this race I've mentioned John Schwartz running up near the front. Schwartz, I think it's go time for that team. I think they decided it's time to get racy, and the 01 of Schwartz, he finds himself right up near the front. We'll see what Schwartz can do. Schwartz rides right in behind now of Tyler Batchelder on the high side. Octavio Rondoletto has started to lose his run a little bit. That 77 car is not getting a whole lot going as, oh my goodness, they're about to go 3 wide. They do go 3 wide. And oh, Darren's inside fence. Caution is out as Snyder wildly wrecks, and now Octavio Rondoletto wrecks after the caution, and that car is destroyed. Rondoletto goes over, Tyler Batchelder goes over, and 2 of the 3 cars that have been up front this entire race are out of it just like that. Unbelievable there, as Octavio Rondoletto, Darren Snyder, and Tyler Batchelder all wreck after being up front this whole race. Unbelievable. Replay is up, and here's what happened. It looks like Darren Snyder just left the inside line open ever so slightly, and Tyler Jalbert filled that hole. He went in there, and then Snyder just got turned into the inside fence. He wrecked right up the racetrack. Then the 77 and 53 wrecked heading into turn 3, and both those cars got absolutely destroyed. I mean, nothing they could have done to save it there. Looks like Alex Gangler got involved. Kenny Tripp also got involved. Heather Patrick went flipping violently behind the accident. And a tough break there for a lot of cars that have been running good all evening long. Darren Snyder, despite the big contact he made, I think that car might not be as destroyed as it could be. He is still rolling around the speedway. So we are going to try to catch a word real quick with one of the cars involved in that accident, Tyler Batchelder. We're going to try to grab him real quick. So we are currently under caution here for about the 7th or 8th time this evening. As here we go, we're tuning now down to the infield care center where we have a headset on Tyler Batchelder. And Tyler Batchelder, it's PD up in the broadcast booth. An unfortunate wild ride there for the 53 car after spending a lot of the day running up front. Take us through what happened there from your perspective.
All I know is the hole that I was in closed, and the way I went, it sucks because we were super fast on the high side.
I can hear the dismay in your voice. Unfortunate incident there for you. Luckily for you, your teammate Tyler Jalbert still in the running for the win. And next week we head to North Wilkesboro, so another shot for the 53 team. How do you feel moving forward, Tyler? And do you think there's any way you can get that car back out on the speedway?
Yeah, I think so. We got 7 minutes of repairs, so we should be back out there and hopefully be back on the lead lap soon.
All right, Tyler, well, thank you for a quick word. We'll let you catch up with your team. Unfortunate accident there for the Tyler Batchelder 53 team is just a tough break there for him. So we put Tyler back with his team now as we're going to try to catch a quick word with our in-car reporter of Paul Coleman Jr. as we dial up his radio now. And Paul Coleman, it's Petey in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Petey?
I'm doing pretty good, and Paul, I feel like you got to be smiling right now because look at this, Paul. You're going to get a wave around. You're up to 12th. Could have you really asked for anything better with 40 to go than to be up to 12th on the lead lap?
Yeah, that's if you asked me 100 laps ago, obviously you knew I didn't really have faith in that. I thought these guys would race a little cleaner. But hey, look at this. We're passing people. We're going to pass the pace car and get on the lead lap. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Oh, hey, look, there's Turpin. All right, maybe I can give him a battle for the lead here.
Well, Paul, you've been down on your luck today. It's been a tough run for you, but a lot of the leaders have been wrecking here late in the going. You're going to find yourself on the lead lap. I feel like for you got to kind of feel like you're playing with house money right now, right? You were 3 laps down. Your crew chief had given up hope. You had pretty much given up hope. It's like a second life has been born to the 38 team. How do you feel about your chances to get up there and maybe steal this thing?
I feel a lot better than I did about an hour ago. I think we still have probably one more wreck in us the way these guys are racing. Kind of curious what Turpin was doing there trying to hold the field. They were about to lap me earlier. I could see that in my rearview mirror. So he's got some tricks up his sleeve. It ain't over yet, but man, top 10, I'm excited. I got a chance for this. We're going to hit it.
All right, well, we'll let you go catch up with your team, Paul. Thank you for the quick word. As we get 1 lap till we go back, green flag racing. It might actually end up being 2, though, as typically the pace car lights do go back on, and they do. So we'll give you an updated running order in just a moment. Quickly, though, I want to catch up with one more driver before we send this back to green flag racing. And now we're going to try to channel in the not the 707, the 06 of Cody Jones. Cody, it's Speedy up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. You're remembering my old number, eh?
I do.
I know. Turned over a new leaf with this 06. Having a good run for it. I mean, we've had some scary moments.
Well, Cody, I gotta ask you, a lot of this race, we've seen you run near the back end of the lead lap. Looks like you've just kind of been saving your car, and here we are with under 50 laps to go. You're running up in 3rd. Was that kind of just by design to run in the back today? And now for the 06 machine, is it go time?
I mean, I may or may not have accidentally taken too much fuel, so I had no choice, but it was completely on purpose, and now I'm exactly where I want to be. None of this was by chance. It was all 100% my plan. And yeah, now we're ready to roll.
All right, well, Cody, best of luck to you moving forward, and hopefully we can talk to you after the race, my friend.
I'm hoping for it, man. Top 3 at least.
All right, that's Cody Jones, driver of the 06, currently sitting in P3. As here's your updated running order as we get 1 lap till green flag racing. In first position is going to be the number 454 of Luke Turpin. In second will be the number 100 of Danny Ware. In third will be the 06 of Cody Jones. Fourth will be the 99 of Tyler McRae, who, remember, he won the pole and dominated the first 50 laps of this race. Found himself a couple laps down. He's fought back up to 4th. 5th is going to be Derek Colson. 6th, Trevor Birchmere. 7th, Matthew Bear. 8th, John Schwartz. 9th, Paul Coleman Jr., 10th, Tyler Jalbert, and 11th, the last car on the lead lap, Heather Patrick. Here the car is running 1 lap down right now. Darren Snyder in 12th, Alex Gangler in 13th, and then Rafael Semperuch is still 2 laps down at 14th. An unfortunate turn of events after a great run there for him. So here we go, back up front. Luke Turpin is in the top spot. It's the 100 of Danny Ware on his outside. And teammates are kind of off at this point. Everyone's teammates have wrecked. There's just a wild array of cars that have survived to this point in the race, running near the front of the field. We'll have to see who can come out on top. Is a late delay there by race control. They're going to throw 1 more caution lap on. They spotted a little oil patch down high on the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. They got to get the speedy dry out there really quick and try to get that out, hopefully in a lap. So we will wait for the race control to get that fixed quickly, as we will be taking the green flag, it looks like, with 42 laps to go. 42 laps to settle the score here from Texas. And it is worth saying that ever since XCAL Racing has started doing the big money purse events, out of all the drivers on the lead lap right now, only one of them has won one of these races. And it is our leader, the 454 of Luke Turpin. So Luke Turpin, public enemy number 1, he has a pack of hungry hounds behind them, a pack of guys that have looked at him for weeks and weeks and just dreamed of being in his position, dreamed of getting to victory lane, dreamed of being that 454 of Luke Turpin. And now they all have their chance. It's a restrictor plate race. Anything can happen, but Luke Turpin can defy the odds again and shut their mouths with a win here at Texas. He has never won an XCAL race from the Texas Motor Speedway. He'd like to check this one off his list. We go down into corners 3 and 4. It's Danny Ware on that high side, Luke Turpin down low. The second cars in the outside lane will be Tyler McRae. The second car on the inside lane will be Cody Jones. Here we come. The iRacing Ford Mustang is going to make that hard left-hand turn off the speedway. Field at the mercy of Luke Turpin. Texas Terry holds the flag in hand. Green flag in the air. We're down and away, and it is Turpin on that inside lane, getting a decent jump there. Danny Ware hangs tough. He gets a big shove from Tyler McRae as they head down towards 1. On the inside, Cody Jones now gets back up towards the bumper of Luke Turpin. Cody Jones runs right in line right there as McRae pinches Cody Jones down on the bottom of the racetrack. Nothing doing yet as Danny Ware could come down if he wants to. He will not, as now Cody Jones fills the hole. Jones is there, and the 100 car gives him a little bit of a shove. So the 100 car will stay in the outside lane, and now he has a lot of help from Tyler McRae. So it's Danny Ware on the outside battling for the top spot with Luke Turpin. They go side by side for the lead as now Cody Jones fills the hole for third. The outside lane has 4 cars. The inside lane has 2 cars. Things are all spread out here right now as that 454, though, continues to show the way around the speedway. He has a lot of help on that inside from Cody Jones, and as that 454 continues to lead, Danny Ware pinches him lower and lower, it seems like, as the race goes on. As the laps wear on, the patience of Danny Ware wears on, and he continues to run lower and lower, and with help from Tyler McRae, he pulls ahead down the backstretch. As that time, Danny Ware with a little bit of an advantage heading into turn number 3. We have about a 6-car breakaway in the lead pack. As contact's made between the 454 and the 100, they touch doors as they come off the corner, this time by 40 more laps to go in the Don't Mess with Texas 225. This is the distance of a heat race, pretty much a heat race left in this thing. Still, we have 10 cars racing on the lead lap, 10 cars in contention for this thing. Our in-car reporter, Paul Coleman Jr., looks like he had a rough restart there, but I think Paul might be expecting one more wreck, so he might be hanging in the back. And the way they're racing up front right now, 40 to go, they do wreck! The 38 car goes into the inside fence. Tyler McRae gets loose. Garrett Colson goes up the speedway. McRae is going to save it. 32 of Birchmere saves it. That will not be a caution, and that leaves just 3 cars in the lead pack to race for the win right now. So 3 cars are left up front. It's Danny Ware, Luke Turpin, and Cody Jones. Those are the 3 cars left racing for the win up front. On the high side, it's Danny Ware. He continues to challenge Luke Turpin, and Cody Jones now can kind of just sit and bide his time. He has no pressure from behind, no reason to race. He's just going to kind of chill right now. Derek Colson's up to 4th. John Schwartz is up to 5th. As a good run right now for those guys. Up front, though, the leaders do start to close in on the lap car of Tyler Batchelder, who's gotten back out there. That car is fairly slow. So we will see what happens here as Batchelder keeps that car out on the racetrack. As we're going to see Tyler Jalbert now pull down pit road for a black flag. Unfortunate break there for Jalbert as he brings it down into pit road. Got a black flag that really is going to cost him. That will move Paul Coleman now up to 8th. Coleman runs right on the bumper of our 6th and 7th place cars, those being Matthew Bear and Trevor Birchmere. So a 6th place run not out of the question right now for Paul Coleman, and he could actually get up as high as 4th if he would like. He is running right behind a lot of those guys. Up front, the battle for the lead continues to wear on, and now Danny Ware looks like he's going to pull in the line. I think Ware might be just trying to chill for a minute here, knowing there's still quite a few laps left in this race, and he really wants to figure out the move he wants to make. So Ware runs that high side, and Cody Jones, I like what Jones is doing right now. He's not getting too close to either of these guys. He's keeping a good space between them. And the Jones 06 machine looks like he just wants to try to bring that car home in the best position as he can. As Jones doing a good job just kind of making sure he's going to have a car here with the last 20 laps come, and then he can really start to challenge for this win as Danny Ware on the high side does challenge Luke Turpin. It's the 100 car getting a good side draft in the corner. They do touch doors again. That 454 and 100 are getting so close. If they wrecked, I really wouldn't be that surprised. They keep beating and banging and touching and doing all this stuff. It could go south very quickly. As we're down to just 9 cars on the lead lap. Tyler Jalbert did pit and get back out onto the racetrack in time. He was in front of a lot of these guys. Darren Snyder now 1 lap down is up to 10th, so Tyler Jalbert up to 9th. As Paul Coleman Jr. has now made his way up to 6th, he runs right behind 5th and 4th. As John Schwartz has kind of got shuffled out. Coleman making a late charge here. If these guys can stay in line here in about 4th through 8th, if they can stay all single file, they will have a chance to go for the top spot. Luke Turpin is wrecked! Luke Turpin is wrecked from the lead as I was looking at the second pack. Caution is out on the speedway, and I do not know what happened there. It looked like some major net code. The leader, though, Luke Turpin, has gone around, and Danny Ware will inherit the lead. An unbelievable race here from the Texas Motor Speedway as the twists and turns keep changing here late in the going. We'll have the replay up for you in one moment. Unbelievable. Luke Turpin leads the race. If the replay goes up, it looks like Turpin and Ware made contact going into the corner. And it looks like Ware might have came down on Turpin a little bit, but Turpin came up. I don't think you can penalize Danny Ware for that wreck right there. That was just too close to call. Turpin went around. Ware inherits the lead. Seconds now would be Cody Jones is getting absolutely pegged. I didn't even see that. It was Luke Turpin after the fact. I was too concerned about what happened to him earlier. Who did the pegging there? Looks like Paul Coleman Jr. did get involved in that. Looks like Coleman, though, was able to spin into the inside pit lane and kind of hit the wall. Derek absolutely died there. Derek Colson, major contact there on the 5 car. And we're going to try to key in our in-car reporter real quick. Paul Coleman Jr., PD up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, trying to figure out from race control. I got like 4 different black flag penalties there for spinning through the pits.
I believe if you go through the pits that you do not have to serve the penalty. I would tell race control right now exactly what happened and they'll likely clear it. But Paul, it looks like you're going to be running in 5th if you do get those penalties clear and you're going to be restarting in the top 5. Luke Turpin out of the running. There's only going to be like 5 cars on the lead lap, Paul. This has been a true race of attrition. Is your motor okay? You took a pretty heavy hit to that inside wall. Does the car seem to be down on power?
No, the car's fine. Like I said, I just have it's make or break my race whether I have to serve these penalties or not.
Okay, Paul, so let's just imagine we live in a world where you don't get the penalties. I really don't. I think you'll probably get those cleared, Paul. You shouldn't be penalized for that. Do you think restarting in 5th now, a bunch of guys that have never won an XCAL race in front of you, likewise to you, do you think you got the chance at this?
Absolutely. Fired up. I mean, I was, as you saw, I was making moves there. Got myself up to 6th. I thought we were having a good run there, and then, yeah, that was kind of weird. I saw Luke up on the wall and then coming back in front of us, and then I just kind of hard left it.
All right, well, we will let you focus on your race there, Paul. Hopefully you can get in contact with race control and figure out what you need to do there. So we will let Paul catch up with his team. And now the lead is going to cycle through to Cody Jones. 2nd is going to be Matthew Baer. 3rd is going to be John Schwartz. We're going to try to talk to John Schwartz real quick since he's in 3rd and the highest running guy I haven't talked to yet. As Schwartz sits in 3rd right now, so we're going to pull him up here. And Jonathan Schwartz, it's a PD up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Oh, well, John, for you and your teammate Cody Jones, it looks like kind of the game plan today was you guys just rode around in the back for the whole race, and now as the entire field is wrecked, you guys find yourself restarting 1st and 3rd with about 30 laps left to go in this thing. So tell me, is this just played out to your grand design, or is this just kind of a little bit of lady luck on your side here at the end?
Well, I think it's a bit of both there, Petey. I think that is our plan, that we were just trying to stay back, trying to avoid the wrecks, and when they just started to get double wide up front, we just thought that was going to result in some accidents, and it did seem to turn out that way, as I feel that staying back until the end here was just the right move, and so hopefully we'll have a good shot at it with a few laps to go, and yeah, we still got 30 laps, still a lot of time for the guys in the back to catch up, and but the track position is definitely what we're going for, and now that we're at the end, it's time to go for the win.
All right, so we will let him talk to his teammate there as they get the field all settled up there. We'll send John back to his team. That was John Schwartz, driver of the 01 car, as we get ready to get things back going here in about a lap and a half. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. We'll be right back in 1 moment. As we are having a dramatic ending to the Don't Mess with Texas 225, as this one's coming right down to the wire. We're going to give you an updated running order. 8 cars run on the lead lap here at the end of this one. Here's how they run. Cody Jones is in 1st, 2nd's Matthew Baer, 3rd John Schwartz, 4th Tyler Jalbert, 5th Paul Coleman Jr., 6th will be Darren Snyder, 7th Alex Gangler, and 8th will be Danny Ware. And quickly, Paul Coleman Jr., as we turn on your radio just for a brief moment, what was the update from race control about your situation?
I have no idea. They cleared my blacks just now. Fantastic. Whoop, hello. All right, yep, we're good. I just got to go to the back.
All right, we'll let Paul get back with his team now. We just want a quick update there to make sure we understood the situation. If Coleman would have to restart and take a black flag, or if he would get to restart in 5th, he will restart in 5th. So Coleman will be still in the contention for the win in this thing as we get here late in the going. We go down through turns 3 and 4. Field is at the mercy of Cody Jones. Cody Jones, a new XCAL member, has never led an XCAL race, finds himself leading this thing when we take the green flag with 30 laps to go, and as his teammate running on his bumper. It could be the perfect day for Cody Jones, but if I've learned one thing from this race, twists and turns all over the place, this thing is far from over, boys. Here we come off turn 4. The pace car makes that hard left-hand turn. Texas Terry Labonte holds the green flag in his air, and he lets him rip. Green flag in the air, we're down and away, and Cody Jones on the inside does get it going. However, John Schwartz right behind him does not. Schwartz now is going to get his nose cut off there by Tyler Jalbert. Jalbert slides down in the line. Jalbert now gets underneath Matthew Bear in the number 699, and now the 04 of Jalbert will move up into 2nd. Jalbert now will start to chase down the 06 of Cody Jones. We'll see if Jalbert jumps to the outside. Here he comes. He runs right on his bumper, and Jalbert just gives him a shove, gives him a push. Now he's going to jump to the inside of Cody Jones. Nothing doing there. Couldn't get to the inside. Jones now will have to just protect that inside lane as Jalbert's trying to get his way up to the front of this field. Jalbert looks to the inside, nothing there. Jalbert runs right on the bumper of the 06. He gets him a little bit squirrely there in the tri-oval. This thing is far from over. 8 cars run on the lead lap. 8 cars are still in contention for the win in this thing. But what a hectic race. As here we go to the inside. Tyler Jalbert's going to make the move to the inside of Cody Jones. Jones now is left out to dry as he's going to slide back in a line in front of his teammate Schwartz. So Jalbert will take over the lead for a quick moment. Jalbert back up to the top spot now as he is going to have to drive the race of his life to try to put that thing in the victory lane. Jones is in 2nd, 3rd is Schwartz, 4th is Matthew Bear, and then it's the rest of the field is pretty far back. Darren Snyder in 5th is 3 seconds behind these leaders. It's really a 4-car duel right now for this checkered flag. Up front, Jalbert still continues to show the way around the Speedway in the closing moments of this race. What a race from Texas. I cannot say that enough. This race is at everything. Lead changes, a great green flag racing, huge wrecks, stunning turns of events. What an event XCAL Racing has had from the Texas Motor Speedway, and it is not over yet by a long shot. Trust me, I have a feeling that we are probably going to see one more wreck in this thing. I just don't think they can play nice for another 28 laps. As Cody Jones runs on the bumper of the 04. Everyone's single file up front right now. Looks like guys are just kind of biding their time, waiting to see when it's time to make the move, as Jalbert does continue to show the way around the racetrack. Jones right on his bumper. Looking back in that second pack a little bit, we do have a battle going on for 5th as, Rafael Sempruch goes around. He wrecks into the inside wall. Paul Coleman Jr. gets up in the track. Caution will fly. Paul Coleman was involved in that accident. However, once again, it looks like Coleman didn't really get much damage, so I think Coleman's going to be not much worse for wear, as it's a matter of if he caused that accident or not, and it does look like he did. So it's likely he's probably going to get a penalty there. But nonetheless, it looks like it's not damaged much. So you see, it looks like Coleman just jumped to the inside there of Rafael Sempruch through the grass, and then after he came out of the grass, just kind of slid right up into the quarter panel of the 74, and then slid back up the racetrack. Looks like he collected 37 of Art Hendren, who's 66 laps down. And tough break there for Coleman Jr., as you see the replay. We're going to try to get a quick word in with Paul Coleman Jr., our in-car reporter. Once again, Paul Coleman Jr., I'm sure you're getting sick of talking to me, but here I am.
No, it's restart sucked. They all stacked up again because I got the black flag from that first restart. I had to slam on the brakes to make sure I didn't go in the second lane, so kind of lost the lead draft and just had to drive a little over aggressively, so, I wouldn't lose the draft, and, that's what happened.
Is the car still good, though, Paul? I know you're going to have to serve a penalty, but you can probably serve it under caution and stay on the lead lap, so is the car still driving fine?
Oh, the car's fine. The car's great. Like I said, as long as, the problem is every restart, I get, stuck behind lap traffic, and it's really, really hard with these guys to try to get in the lead pack there.
All right, Paul. Well, we'll let you catch up with your team there for a moment, and we'll get ready to talked to a few other guys. There's Paul Coleman Jr. as he'll be the 8th car on the lead lap. What that caution does, though, actually, even though Sempruch was involved, that's probably what Sempruch wanted to see, because he's going to get back on the lead lap now. So Rafael Sempruch, not out of the running whatsoever in this thing. And we're going to try to get a word in here with, well, let's just see who we can pull up here. We're running out of guys to talk to, as we have had quite a few cautions here at the end of this one. Might as well get another word in with Tyler Jalbert, as we're going to pull him up in the broadcast booth. And Tyler Jalbert, Speedy up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Speedy.
Tyler, looks like we're going to have a restart here with just about 20 laps to go. And you told me earlier in this race your plan was to get to the front of the field, be aggressive, and keep the car in front of everyone else. You have successfully done that all night long. You made a pretty aggressive move to take the lead away from Cody Jones. And now here you sit with 20 laps to go to keep the 04 car out in front of the field. Tell me, how do you keep the field behind you here at the end?
I'm trying not to be too dirty, but I guess just block when I have to and hope I get someone good behind me that'll push me to the end.
10-4 Tyler. Well, with all of your teammates kind of struggling a bad fate here in this race, tell me, how does that make it more difficult for you to possibly get in a victory lane with really no friends around?
Yeah, that's the thing with the teams is I'm not sure how willing these guys work with, you know, someone who's not on their team, but I guess there's really only one way to find out.
That is absolutely true. Well, Tyler, I don't want to distract you too much, so we'll let you get back with your team, but best of luck here at the finish.
Thanks, Speedy.
All right, that's Tyler Jalbert, driver of the 04 mainly asphalt machine, as we are going to get ready to go back green here in one moment. We're going to take our final 30-second time out of the evening. Do not go anywhere. You're listening to XCAL Racing on Telesign TV. Welcome back to Telesign TV. My name's PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, and if you have missed this race, let me tell you what, you have missed what some pundits are calling the weirdest race in XCAL history, as this one has been a strange one so far. Here's your running order as the lights go off on the pace car. First place is Tyler Jalbert, second place is going to be Cody Jones, third John Schwartz, fourth Matthew Bear, fifth is going to be Darren Snyder, sixth Alex Gangler, seventh Danny Ware, 8th Paul Coleman Jr., and 9th Rafael Sempruch. Those will be your cars in the lead lap. 2 laps down in 10th is Heather Patrick. And that is your top 10, as we still have about 20 cars making laps around the track. Only, I'd say, 9 cars in contention. I mean, I guess Patrick could get back into contention if we see 2 more cautions. The problem is we're starting to run out of cars to wreck for there to be 2 more cautions. It has been absolutely a race of attrition here, and you wouldn't expect that at Texas. It started out with some big wrecks in this race, though. On the first lap of the race, we had a huge wreck at the front of the field. Then the next restart, there's another big wreck. And then we had about 150 lap stretch where there was not a whole lot of wrecking, maybe 1 or 2 cautions spread out. And now here at the end of this race, these boys have not played nice with each other. It has been a lot of wrecking here at the end of this race, a lot of hard racing. The unfortunate part is, too, the wrecks haven't really been anything stupid or boneheaded or egregious. It's just been good, hard racing that's gone south. Unfortunate there. We're going to have a restart here with 21 laps to go as the field gets 1 lap till we go back green flag racing. And 21 laps is still a lot of time for a lot of things to happen here. I will tell you what, look at the running order right now, because I would bet money that that will not be the same running order at the checkered flag. If you're in it right now, you could certainly win it the way this one has went. As we I'm keeping an eye on Paul Coleman Jr. It does look like he has beat the pace car off pit road, so Coleman Jr. will stay on the lead lap. He runs in 9th. One of those cars still in contention. Back on the lead lap now is Rafael Sempruch. As that 74 car finds itself in 8th, he'd probably need another caution to be in contention for the win. As in 8th place right now, he is going to be mired behind all the other lap cars, so he will not be up with the lead pack. Still for Sempruch, though. He was my pick about the halfway point of this race. And with how weird this race has been so far, I'm not going to take back that pick. I bet you he will have a chance to get up there and compete for the win before this one is over. So we go through turns 3 and 4. Field is at the mercy of the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. He has Cody Jones on his outside and John Schwartz right to his bumper. As we come off of turn number 4. That iRacing Ford Mustang will make the hard left-hand turn for hopefully the last time. They come down to the flag stand. Texas Terry, whose arm's starting to get sore, will wave the green flag. Green flag in the air. We're down and away as Terry Labonte lets him rip. And on the inside, it is the 04 of Jalbert missing a shift. Jalbert missed a shift there, and that allowed the 06 to catch right back up. Luckily, the 04 was able to shove it into gear quickly and was able to recover. However, the 06 on the high side is hanging tough with him. We'll see now if the 06's teammate of John Schwartz lets him slide in the line. As here we go, Alex Gangler is now up to 4th. Gangler throws his hat in the ring late in the running in this one. Don't forget when Gangler was leading with about the halfway point, he was involved in a self-spin. However, his late in the going here, Alex Gangler is making his name known. He wants to make his presence felt. He'd like to get a good run here at the end of this one. Gangler runs right on the bumper of John Schwartz in the 01 car. Up front, though, it is Cody Jones challenging for the top spot. Jones slides in the line, this time by the flag stand. 20 more laps to go in the Don't Mess with Texas 225. Now we are all single file. First car on the outside lane is Danny Ware in 5th. He runs on the outside of Darren Snyder trying to get a good run up top. We have the entire top 6 right now in the lead, or top 7, excuse me, running in the lead pack, as these are the cars racing for the win late in the going. None of the cars on the lead lap in this race have ever won an XCAL Racing feature event. All these guys will be new to victory lane. All of them want it so desperately here. The 04 car gets a little tight off the corner, makes it wide. That's going to be the 06 of Cody Jones now trying to take advantage. Nothing doing there for Jones. Jones probably just content to ride for a moment, as Ware now challenges for 4th on the outside of Alex Gangler. Here comes Ware up top. He is just trying to make his presence felt. He'd like to drive that car up to the front of the field. Don't forget, with about 50 laps to go, he was involved in a caution with Luke Turpin. Or excuse me, with Noah Carpenter that really damaged that car. And very recently he was involved in a caution with Luke Turpin that further damaged that car. So for the 100 car of Danny Ware, it has been certainly not an easy going here in this XCAL Racing feature event. But late in the going, the 100 car finds itself competing for victory. Let's see if he can pull this off. The outside lane continues to move. He races on the outside of Alex Gangler. He is going to try to clear the 82 car. Will not be able to this time as Gangler still hangs tough to his inside. Up front, it is the 04 of Jalbert continuing to show the way. Here comes Cody Jones peeking to the outside. Jalbert throws the block. He's going to still stay single file up front as John Schwartz waits in the wings in 3rd right now. And it's almost like Schwartz is just waiting on one more wreck. It's like we're running out of cars to wreck. But I think John Schwartz in the 01 kind of has that 6th sense, and he is he's getting the feeling that they might get dicey for that lead once again between Jones and the 04 of Jalbert. They continue to quick away laps now as that 100 car mounts his charge on the high side. He is now just about clear of Alex Gangler, not quite yet. Next, he'll have to set his sights on the 3rd place car, the 01 of John Schwartz. They do race for about 6th and 7th behind these guys, between Darren Snyder and Matthew Bear. We're going to keep our eyes up on the battle here up front. Here comes the 06 of Cody Jones, right on the bumper of the 04. I think I saw a car wrecking back there. I'm not 100% sure. Yep, Darren Snyder did wreck, and he is slow in the middle of the speedway. Not sure what happened there to Snyder, as it looks like he got turned into the inside fence. A terrible break there for Darren, as just a good run gone south for him. Up front, though, the battle for the lead does continue to wear on. Paul Coleman Jr. has had some sort of issue too. He's in the pits 3 laps down. Don't know what happened to Paul. We're down to 7 cars now on the lead lap. 7 cars left on the lead lap to battle for the win. 5 cars in the lead pack, as we have confirmed that Paul Coleman blew a motor, so a tough break there for him after a good run. It's still Danny Ware, that first car on the high side, though, as we have 5 guys left to duel. And what 5 different stories? Let me tell you the story of these 5 drivers. Tyler Jalbert, our guy in the lead, he's been a part of XCAL since its return. He has been very quick at a lot of tracks we go to. However, his aggressive driving style has also led to a lot of DNFs. He hasn't won a race yet, but he's been close many times, several top 3s, just hasn't quite closed the deal out yet. Cody Jones, a new member to the XCAL Racing League, has came and signed with Big Block Motorsports. He has found himself as kind of a super speedway aficionado. He has been running near the front in a lot of these super speedway races, and today is no different as he finds himself 2nd late in the going. John Schwartz in 3rd. Schwartz has been one of the best competitors in the series since he joined. He was kind of discovered by Telesign TV's own Tanner Kalin in another league that was not the greatest of leagues, but John Schwartz really shined in that league. He came and started the race with us, and pretty much week in and week out, he is a top 5 competitor. Likewise, he has never closed the deal. He has finished as high as 3rd before in an XCAL feature race, but still has yet to visit victory lane. And then 4th place right now, Danny Ware. He came to us a few weeks ago at Lanier. At Lanier, he had the car to beat in his first first XCAL race. However, he lost after an epic final duel with Kenny Tripp, and he was not able to get that car into victory lane as he now makes the pass on Schwartz for third. The 100 of Danny Ware still likewise has never been to victory lane. And then finally, Alex Gangler. Gangler has been here since XCAL Racing restarted right in June. He was literally here from the first event. He has been so willing to help this league out, do anything he can to make things better for this racing organization. The speed has not come for him, though. That car has often found itself multiple laps down in races, typically a back marker in these events. However, for Alex Gangler right now, he finds himself running in fifth late in the going here at the Texas Motor Speedway. And it is anyone's race right now between those five. Any of these five could win it. Up front now, Danny Ware makes a move to the outside of Cody Jones. He's trying to challenge for second now. Let's see where Schwartz goes. Alex Gangler kind of just holding on for dear life to that draft right now. He's starting to lose a little bit of touch with those first four cars. If he's not careful, this is going to turn into a four-car race if he can't get that car going. Ware jumps to the outside now of the 06. Nothing doing there. Ware just can't get a run. That 06 is doing a great job of just staying tucked in the line behind the 04, making that run good, making it possible for Ware to make a move. The 06 of Jones throws a little bit of a block. Did not get there in time. The 100 car now races to the outside of Cody Jones. Jones left the battle with the 100 of Ware as Ware continues to man that outside lane. It is Tyler Jalbert continuing to lead laps here late in the going from the Texas Motor Speedway. Clicks another one in the book as the battle for second is heating up, and Jalbert is noticing that 100 car is getting closer and closer to his mirror. That Danny Ware machine, not done yet. He wants to get into the going. Here they come. Danny Ware bears down on the 06 of Cody Jones, gets right onto his quarter panel. Cody Jones comes up the speedway, tries to throw a block, nothing there. Ware gets a good run down the backstretch. Cody Jones throws the door block, it will not work. Ware now has the second spot as the nose is ahead. Here they come through 3 and 4 as Alex Gangler has lost this draft. It is a 4-car duel for the win here at the Texas Motor Speedway. This time by, Terry Labonte puts 10 fingers down, 10 more laps to go from Texas as we are trying to settle the score here. On that high side, Danny Ware continues to do a good job side drafting with Cody Jones. Jones running that low side is just kind of preventing the 100 car of Danny Ware from getting up and challenging Tyler Jalbert. And with 10 to go, things are about to get heated. Here we go. Jalbert goes up and throws a block on Jones. Jones thought about making a move, but he wasn't able to make one. The 100 of Ware now races to the high side, and Danny Ware way up top just trying to find a run. And oh, the 06 gets into Ware. Ware goes up the speedway, and that's going to clear a hole for the 06. If the 06 wants it, there's a hole there to jump to the outside. They continue to click away laps. The racing is getting more and more dicey as this one gets down closer and closer to the end. Here comes Jones to the outside now. Jones is going to jump up top. He's going to abandon the 04 of Tyler Jalbert. No help there for Jalbert. Now on the outside is Jones with Danny Ware right behind him. Danny Ware going to give the 06 a little bit of a draft help down the back straightaway. The 06 is going to be left out to dry by the 100. The 04 throws a block. They are still racing side by side. Ware now goes to the inside. He's looking to take the second position away from Cody Jones. Jones will slide back in the line in front of his teammate John Schwartz. This is a team shootout, mainly asphalt versus big block motorsports in the end. You have the two mainly asphalt cars, the 04 of Tyler Jalbert and the 100 of Danny Ware, and the two big block motorsports cars of Cody Jones and John Schwartz. Which team will prove victorious? We are about to find out. Jones comes off the corner. You know those two cars are going to be wanting to get to the high side soon. Ware all over the bumper of Tyler Jalbert. He peeks to the inside. There's not room there. Ware continues to run right on the bumpers. Jalbert has a little bit of an issue there. Jalbert keeps the car running out in front. Off the corner now, Jones gets a good run on the 100 of Ware. He's bearing right down on the back bumper of that 100 car. He thinks about looking to the inside. He won't have room to do it yet. Schwartz is looking to the high side. I think he's telling his teammate, come on, buddy, it's time to go. We got to move up top. The top four have absolutely pulled away from Alex Gangler in fifth. Gangler's in fifth, really in his own island right now. It is between these 5 cars up front. Don't forget, if we get to 5 laps to go, there will be no more cautions. XCAL Racing will not throw a caution in the final 5 laps of a feature event. So no more cautions if they can make it back another lap and a quarter here as we come through turns 3 and 4. It is Tyler Jalbert continuing to lead with Danny Ware all over him, and those two big block motorsports cars are looking more and more racy as the laps continue to wear on. Here comes Jones to the outside. Jones moves to the outside of Danny Ware, and Schwartz is going to go with him. They race to the high side. They are side by side for second, but it's going to be Ware pulling the gap for the time being. Those cars on the high side just can't get hooked up enough to get a good run. As we come down the back stretch, it is now the 06 car with a big push down the back straightaway from the 01. They are trying to make it happen. Here they come through turns 3 and 4. Those cars will pull back in a line. They're going to try to make one last effort here. As this time by, Terry Labonte leans out of the flag stand and he waves 5 fingers in front of the field. 5 more laps to go from the Texas Speedway. There will be no more cautions in this race. We are green till the end. This is it. This will settle the score. Jones peeks to the outside again for second. Those 2 cars, though, I think they need to just ride low and wait for their run to come naturally. They are not going to get to the outside the way they are trying to do it. They now jump to the outside once again. Jones, maybe he might have a quarter panel on that 100 car of Danny Ware. He really has to pinch him down low. Here we come into the corner, and Ware drives the 06 car up the Speedway. He's not letting him get to his outside. Ware is really protecting the lead right now for Tyler Jalbert. This time by, 4 more laps to go. The flag man shows 4 fingers in the air now. 4 to go as Jalbert continues to lead. Jalbert has led probably about the last 30 laps. However, these 4 are going to be the hardest of his XCAL career. We are going to see a first-time winner today. It's just a matter of who will it be. Will it be the 04, the 100, the 06, or the 01? Who knows, but I promise you there will be a 0 in their number. Knock on wood, because Gangler's still in 5th of the 82. Here we go for the top spot. The 100 is all over the back bumper right now. Tyler Jalbert, they run nose to tail, single file, the top 4 do. This is about to get dicey, though, here at the end. This time by, 3 laps to go at the flag stand, and it's go time. These guys know they got to get racy. Schwartz is just trying to make any sort of a move happen. Those 2 Big Block Motorsports teammates, though, they just cannot get anything going on that high side. Here we go now. It's Jalbert still out in the front, continuing the lead, as Danny Ware just really cannot get any sort of a run going. I just kind of wonder if Danny Ware is just biding his time. Here they go. Ware gets a big run down the backstretch. Does he make a move here? No, he gives a shove to the 04. He's continuing to push the 04. Danny Ware does not think it's go time yet. Here we come off the corner. It's Tyler Jalbert continuing to lead. This time by, Terry Labonte puts popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go from the Texas Motor Speedway. This thing's far from over. 2 laps to go and settle the score in the Don't Mess with Texas 225. Ware all over the bumper of Tyler Jalbert right now. Jalbert just pinned that white side lane, not coming up the racetrack even a millimeter. He knows one slip up here could cost him the whole shebang. They come down the backstretch. The big block cars jump to the outside. They just cannot get hooked up. There's no run up there on the high side for those big block cars. And here they come through turns 3 and 4 for the second to last time. This time by, Terry Labonte leans out the flag stand, white flag in the air. 1 more lap to go, and it is anyone's race still. Jalbert out in front, and here comes Danny Ware. Danny Ware's going to get racy. Danny Ware peeks to the inside, nothing there. Here comes John Schwartz to the outside of his teammate, Cody Jones. They get racy for 3rd. This will not be relevant to the battle for the win. Let's see what Danny Ware can do. Ware wheels it through the corner. Jalbert still out in front. Does Ware have anything left in the tank for him? Here comes Ware, catching right up to the bumper of Jalbert. I don't know if he's going to get there. Jalbert is just running too smooth right now. Ware peeks to the outside. Jones shoves him up the racetrack. Jones gets to the inside, and now Ware's going to go up the racetrack, and Ware kind of gets forced out of the groove. Here comes Jones. Here comes Schwartz to the inside. They're 3 wide for 3rd, 2nd, and 4th, but it's going to be Tyler Jalbert winning his first career XCAL feature event. They wreck hard after the line, but it is Tyler Jalbert for the first time in his XCAL career, parking the car in victory lane. What a win for Tyler Jalbert as he finally closes the deal. He's been close so many times. That 04 has been fast at so many tracks. And finally, Tyler Jalbert has closed the deal. He's a winner in the XCAL Racing League. Wow, what a race here, as we are going to have words with all of these drivers who finished in the top 3. As first and foremost, we're going to catch a word with our 3rd place finisher, Cody Jones, as he is out of the car and okay after that hard wreck. Hard wreck after the start-finish line for Cody Jones, but he is okay and still in good spirits after a 3rd place finish. And Cody, tell me, a good 3rd place finish for you today, a good solid top 3 run. Take us through those final few laps from your perspective.
Man, me and John tried to make something happen on the top side. I think had a little bit of nose damage. I just couldn't get alongside Danny, and I mean, if Danny tried to go high, I might have pushed him there just to see what I could do, but I mean, Jalbert was so fast, you just couldn't get anything. I let him by a couple laps before on that restart, because he was just going to be so fast. I was hoping to get something else, and then through that last set of turns, I tried to do what John did in his heat race, and I got under the 100 car. I hope that I don't get DQ'd for that. And we're doing real good, hoping for a second place, and then John just pulled us on the inside, and man, all's fair in love and war. It's a lot of fun. Glad to get this car into third place, and hopefully next week I'm going to have an even prettier car. So had a lot of fun
so,
out
Cody.
here.
We are hoping so. But Cody, before I let you go celebrate a great podium finish with the team, who do you got to thank for sponsors and crew on the number 06 machine? I almost said 707 again.
No, I like my old 707. I got to thank the family, all the people which give me enough time to run this. Got to thank, was it First and 15? They're going to hopefully be on the car real soon. Everyone at Big Block Motorsports, got to thank Jeff for doing some nice stuff, keeping some of the other cars behind us. Got to thank John. Got to thank John, even though he may or may not have shuffled me out of the way too. But had a lot of fun running tonight.
All right, well, that's Cody Jones, finisher in third place this evening, as we're going to try to get a word in with John Schwartz really quickly. As we do try to get a word in here with Schwartz, if we can find him. And there we go, I found John Schwartz. So here we go, our second place finisher now, down here a little ways on pit road, John Schwartz. John, you kind of bided your time today, rode around the back of the field, and late in the going found yourself racing for the win. Take us through that final corner as you made an epic move down to the inside in the grass for second.
Yeah, Petey, I think that was a very long race, over 2.5 hours, and near the end there, I'm just glad we were able to have a chance to go for the win. I think Tyler did a great job just defending from 3 or 4 of us there, and I tried to work with my teammate Cody to try to get the outside lane going, but I think he was just having trouble trying to side draft and pinch them hard enough to be able to get the outside lane going, so I think we were kind of just forced to stay on the inside and see if we could pass Tyler, but he did a great job defending, and then when Cody made that move into 3, I just tried to get as good of a run off the final corner as I could, and a nice photo finish there. So I'm glad you'll get a second. I don't really think we ever really had a chance to go for the win there, and I had trouble defending when I wasn't leading anyways. So very happy with the result, and a fun race overall.
All right, John, well, before I let you go celebrate a great second place finish with the team, a new career high for you in XCAL, who do you got to thank for sponsors, crew, and team on the number 01 machine?
Definitely got to thank iRacing and XCAL Racing for putting up with such a great broadcast, and Telesign TV, and also GTR Simulators. So they've been great partners with us, and I think so.
All right, thank you, John, for good words there. Fantastic second place finish for the 01 machine, so we will put him back with his teammate. And now I make my way down towards Victory Lane here with the 04 of Tyler Jalbert, and the champagne's flying all over the place. The mainly asphalt guys are jumping all over the 04 car right now. And Tyler Jalbert, let me tell you what, my friend, there has been many weeks in this league where you've been awfully fast, one of the front runners in the field. It just seems like something always happens to you. You couldn't quite close out the deal. Finally, here in the Don't Mess with Texas 225, you parked the 04 machine in Victory Lane. How's it feel to get your first ever XCAL feature win?
Oh man, it feels great. Just like you said, you know, every time I get up front, it seems like something bad happens. But I'm glad I could finally pull it off tonight.
Jalbert, a really good run for you in the 04 car there. Take me through that final lap. You had Danny Ware running right on your bumper. The 06 and 01 were right there too. What were you thinking? Just you need to hold the bottom line and they wouldn't get around you, or were you sweating it pretty heavy there on that last lap?
That was a lot of mirror driving, I'll tell you that. I knew it looked like third and fourth were setting up for the outside, so I'd watch that, and I couldn't give up too much on the inside because Danny would go under me. So it was a lot of back and forth, just playing in my head what I wanted to do, and ended up sticking it to the bottom and riding it out.
All right, Tyler, well, I'm going to let you celebrate with your team. I'm sure you're so excited after getting your first victory there. Before I let you go, though, who do you got to thank for sponsors, crew, and teammates there on the 04 machine?
Definitely Temp Setters, UNOH, Ecolab, all my friends back in Maine who are watching. Feels good to finally pull it off.
All right, well, congratulations to you. Hopefully the first of many to come here in XCAL. Tyler Jalbert, first-time winner in the XCAL Racing Series. Well, that'll wrap up things here on the broadcast. After a zany and wild Don't Mess with Texas 225, if you could think of it, it probably happened in that race today. My name's PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, on behalf of Tanner Kalin and all the great people over at Telesign TV who make these broadcasts possible, Aaron Hillbush and all the great people over at XCAL Racing who make the races possible. We will see you next week at North Wilkesboro.